man. Hey, let's dive into some future awards and future bets that you like for the upcoming season. Joe, I have to give you credit here. I spout out about Cam Ward on this channel all the time, right? I love this kid, and I think he's going to do incredible things at the University of Miami. You're the one who 2 or 3 years ago put me on to Cam Ward. What do you think his ceiling is this year for the Hurricanes? Is he live for a Heisman bet at 22-1? And what's the other intriguing future that you like Cam Ward for?
Yeah, before anybody starts to jump on the bandwagon, everybody needs to go back and watch some highlights of Cam Ward at Incarnate Word. He used to put up some ridiculous stats. He threw the ball all over the yard, and it was unbelievable trying to watch FCS guys keep up with him because he was just on another level. And he has progressively improved. He's got a Patrick Mahomes type arm where he can throw on any platform. He can throw the ball as deep as anybody in the NFL. And I think that he lands in the perfect situation where maybe he thought of going to the NFL this past draft cycle. He sticks around. He's playing on a team that has a great offensive line, a great run game led by Damian Martinez, one of the top running backs in the country. And then that receiver room is extremely stacked. I think Xavier Restrepo is going to be an easy go-to option for him. Miami, if they can hit their potential, is going to be the best team in the ACC. They very well should win the conference. More importantly, if they're back, and I know it's a little bit of a cliche, a little bit of a joke saying, is the U back? And we were doing it with Texas for so long. If they get back, the national landscape is going to be all in on him and talking about why he was the big reason for them returning to prominence. I think that he can win win the Heisman Trophy. And more importantly, if he makes improvements with his decision-making and he continues to consistently make completions on his aggressive, sometimes risky throws, he will be in that conversation for the first overall pick. I love him as a long shot for that first overall pick for any book that's offering odds for that. It is going to take a lot for him to get there because there's some refinement that needs to go into his game. But again, he lands into a perfect situation for him to have an amazing season in 2024.
Yeah, it is interesting because we haven't really gotten a lot of buzz on who's going to be the number one quarterback taken, unlike prior years where it felt like those selections were relatively obvious. Let's talk because we're at this point, right, Joe? We want to get who's the long shot? What's the best value bet? But at the end of the day, it's probably going to be one of the quarterbacks on one of the top teams. And why look farther than I think the top team, and that's Georgia. Carson Beck is one of those guys that can certainly carry the load. Georgia as a team, they lose Brock Bowers, but here's Oscar Delp, who, the casual fan might not know. It might be better than Brock Bowers. So, there's just so many weapons there. And at the end of the day, Georgia's still the best team. So why should I look elsewhere than the best player on the best team for the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah, I think that he's the great pick if you're looking for a safer one for the reasons you just talked about. Last year, their whole offense was inconsistently healthy. Brock Bowers was in and out of the lineup. Latin McConkey was in and out of the lineup. And we saw in the SEC championship game when those guys were seemingly unavailable for the second half of that game, how much it impacted their ability to move the ball against that elite Alabama defense. And they were really aggressive in the portal to add a number of the top receivers. Trevor Etienne is going to be huge for the run game. Their offensive line is now getting more and more experienced and is extremely stout. Amarius Mims was a first-round pick, but he was not fully available. So those group of guys are going to be super cohesive together. I think that he is probably the safest pick because we saw what he was able to do to keep his team on schedule, to make big plays when he was not able to connect with his premier, consistent, dynamic weapons that he usually had. This year is going to be huge for him. And I think it's super easy to lean on when you're talking about expectations for a top team or for a top player. A guy in his second year, third year at the quarterback position is so important. It's hard to really buy in on somebody who's only been playing a position for a year. It's one that requires a lot of experience to a multitude of situations to know how to handle himself. And I think that Carson Beck, who showed so much promise last year and so much poise, is only going to get better in this upcoming season with a completely revamped offense.
He's Joe DeLeon, college football and NFL draft analyst, joining us right now on the Progressive Guest Line. You can make sure to check out the Ruffino and Joe show on YouTube. And I believe audio also, Joe, available wherever you get your podcasts on that one?
Yep.
All right, absolutely. Joe, now when you look at the new landscape, right, in the power conferences, of course, we had the Power 6 years ago, then the Power 5 for quite some time, and now it's the Power 4. But it really is like a Power 2, draw a line, go down the list a little bit, and then 2 more, sub-power conferences in the ACC and the Big 12. I would argue that they might be more fun to look at in the preseason than the SEC and the Big 10, because I think that they're more wide open. There's more room for parity, more room for variance there. When you look at this Big 12, who really stands out to you the most? Is it one of the mainstays? Is it one of the newcomers coming from the dismantled Pac-12? Who do you like in that Big 12? Or, what teams or players are you looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, and for that reason, that's why I really like talking about the Big 12 for this upcoming season, for what you just said. It's extremely wide open. There's so much room for maybe 5 different teams to win the conference. You can't say that about the Big 10. You can't say that about the SEC especially. Maybe you can make the argument for the ACC, but it's really like a 3-man race with Florida State, with Miami mostly at top. But with the Big 12, I really like Utah being the newcomer to win the conference. I believe most books have them at the best odds. They're the easy, safe pick because they're just so different from what we're used to seeing in the Big 12. It's the ongoing gag of nobody plays defense in the Big 12. It's a lot of pass-happy, highly productive offenses, but we're going to introduce a team that punches you in the mouth on any given down, is extremely creative and stout on defense. They are going to potentially really rattle things in the Big 12. There's going to be a lot of teams that don't know how to handle facing off with a team like Utah. But outside of this, I love Kansas State as my secondary pick if you want to put down money on either of them. Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards, DJ Giddens are going to be the best running back, quarterback combo, just rushing attack in the country potentially. If they can hit their potential, they're going to be really tough to keep up with. And especially if Avery Johnson, who looked phenomenal in the Pop-Tart Bowl, if he can improve as a passer in his second year. Again, I keep coming back to guys in their second year, third year playing the position. He is going to be so important for their success. And Chris Kleiman has proven to be a fantastic coach.
Anytime we can get a Pop-Tart Bowl reference in the show, we have achieved what we are set out to do today. Joe, I wrote this up for our college football betting guide. I want to get your thoughts on it. Of all the both teams coming into the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas, I think Texas will have a little bit of an easier time. Not easy, but easier. Oklahoma, to me, is just up against it. You want to talk about upheaval. Lost 7 starters on offense, including the entire offensive line. Yeah, if you're going to the SEC, you might want to have a good offensive line, right? And I don't love the promotion they made to OC with Seth Luttrell. Did a really, average job at North Texas, and teams went 0-5 in bowl games. So when they managed up in class in the bowl games, Seth Luttrell did not have a good plan to navigate that. Under 7.5 wins is staring me at the face. I know Brent Venables is a good defensive coach. The defense should be good. But I question the offense. No Dylan Gabriel. You lose all the O-linemen. It feels like 7 wins is kind of the ceiling for the Sooners this year.
Yeah, not only did they get a ridiculously brutal schedule that they have to face off with, you just mentioned the key thing that I keep coming back to. The turnover at offensive line is going to be brutal. If they were still in the Big 12, I probably wouldn't be as cautious. I probably wouldn't be as worried. But the fact that they're going into the SEC, having to deal with some of the best defensive lines in the country, with some premier, ridiculous athletes that they're going to have to see, it could be some really tough sledding. Not to mention the fact that they've got Jackson Arnold, who it's going to be his first full year as a starter. He only really played that one game in the bowl game and was a little shaky, turned the ball over a number of times. So we need to prepare ourselves for potentially a rocky season for Oklahoma.
Hey, Joe, before I let you go, in one word here, you're an FCS top 25 voter. DraftKings has a prop. Do they go over or under 6.5 wins against FBS opponents?
Over.
I love it. I love it. Joe DeLeon, make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. We'll be back on Live Bet Saturday after this.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not a rate based on Terry who keeps and makes the car behind them. Oh no, they're about to. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's Nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Experience the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Live it up with the world's largest sports book, Circa Sports. Get loose and get loud with all sports, all seasons at Stadium Swim. Take in the $1 million views at our rooftop lounge, Legacy Club. Go big and go all night with our luxurious rooms and suites. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Looking for the ultimate sports betting podcasts? VSiN has got you covered. With a wide range of podcasts covering every major sport, we're here to help you make smarter bets every season. The Baseball Betting Show with Greg Peterson gives you daily insights into finding value on each day's MLB card. And check out Long Shots, where we deep dive into the world of golf betting, providing you with expert insights to help you bet every tournament. Find all of these podcasts and more at VSiN.com/podcasts or your favorite podcast platform.
Check out the VSiN store for the latest and greatest in sports betting fashion. We have more than 40 shirt designs, including our most popular one. Cash and tickets is what it's all about. You'll find VSiN shirts and hats for any occasion, and they're all made to order, so you can find the right design, color, and size perfect just for you. You'll find VSiN hats and even VSiN coffee mugs, all in our online store. Just go to VSiN.com/store and order now. That's VSiN.com/store.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Live Bet Saturday, moving along here on VSiN with myself, Joe Serralo, alongside my guy, Jared Smith. Great stuff right there, previewing college football with our buddy, Joe DeLeon. A lot of college football hype. Guys, there are going to be college football games this month. We are in August. Football season's creeping up. But Jared and myself both still like to take this opportunity in the summer to capitalize on a market that, some might not be as interested in. But day to day, Jared, we've had a pretty good year betting baseball. Obviously, you've got your nerfy specialties. I've gotten a little broader because I was pitcher props for a while. Now I'm finding different ways because the pitcher props market isn't as generous as it was maybe 2 years ago or so. So I'm kind of trying.
I like that analysis.
To dive
Get you into a nerfy guy, man.
Yeah, I mean you've done it, man. I never bet a nerfy in my life until our Saturday show together.
I'm proud of myself. It's my biggest accomplishment in life.
April 20th. I still have the date saved in my memory. I think that was my first when I popped
the beginning
my
of the
nerfy
end,
cherry.
Joe. Beginning of the end.
Popped my nerfy cherry
There
April 20th. But another great way to do that is to look at first fives.
Yep.
And lately what I've found is if you just want to handicap the starting pitchers, The first 5 market has had more generous pricing lately than pitcher props, be it strikeouts, be it outs recorded. You hit an outs recorded prop already. And actually, let's update everyone. That Cardinals-Cubs game, which was 4-1 Chicago, now 4-4 in the 8th inning.
Yeah, and the Cardinals just had a triple to lead off the 9th. It was kind of one of those Wrigley Field triples where the ball went into the ivy.
Cut in the ivy, yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of got, I don't know if he got like poison ivy, but like it was like the shock factor of going up against the ivy and the ball kind of rattling around there. It gave third base to, I have no idea who, but Lars Nootbaar's at the plate right now, top 9, nobody out, tie game. So this would be one of the bigger comebacks for the Cardinals this year. Again, and they are going to get the run home here as Nootbaar drives one to the gap. It's caught, but deep enough for the sac fly. So you get a 4-run comeback here. So we buried the Cardinals a couple segments ago, and I think they heard us. Carlos Marmol was clearly listening to VSiN there in the dugout, and big comeback, huge for the Cardinals here as they take a 5-4 lead in the 9th.
Cardinals showing a little bit of life here.
Yeah, I didn't think they had anything for life. I thought they were left for dead.
What do we have here on the Boston Red Sox? I'm looking at this game from a Red Sox offensive perspective, man. The Texas Rangers, and I'm trying to find odds here. I got my DraftKings app open, so if you notice I'm multitasking if you're watching on TV.
No, that's the key.
What I'm doing here.
All the smart people can multitask. I do it all the time. I make bets while I'm on the air with you guys every week.
I do still struggle, though, to walk and chew gum at the same time.
It's okay.
But with the Red Sox, I'm looking at their offense in this one. Team total, 4.5 runs. This is plus 110. A plus money play there if you think the Red Sox are going to score 5 or more. Now, Jared, this is intriguing to me. Texas has allowed 29 runs in their last 3 games.
Wow.
They're throwing Chasen Bradford out there, was just finally announced as their starting pitcher, which tells me probably looking at some semblance of a bullpen game here. I mean, Bradford has started games in the past. I don't think he's going to give you more than 3-4 innings in this one. They'd be thrilled if they could get 5 out of him. But the Red Sox on the road, I don't get it, man. They are as good a road team as exists in baseball. They somehow stink at Fenway Park. They stink at home this year. But on the road, Boston 5.2 runs per game, a team OPS over 800. And also, since May 30th, the top OPS in baseball. Since May 30th, Red Sox lead the league in OPS, Mets are second.
Wow.
I think this offense on the road could do some damage. I'm really intrigued by that 4.5 number at plus 110.
Yeah, I like team totals on the road, right? We talk about the home road splits matters, but it also matters when you guarantee yourself 9 at-bats, and they are on the road tonight. Bradford, I'm pulling up his numbers now. I mean, there's really not much meat on the bone here. He's made 3 starts this year, 4 appearances. He was in Double-A earlier this year. He was also in, again, a lower league. I mean, he has been up and down from the minors. Last year, 20 games appeared, 8 starts. Also started 14 games in Triple-A. He started 30 games in Double-A. Like he's up and down. Double-A, Triple-A. He's been all over the map. Obviously not a guy that has elite stuff, or else he would have stuck in the majors. His average fastball velocity hovers in like the 91, 92 mile an hour range. So he's kind of a finesse guy. The underlying numbers are good, right? ERA 3.38, expected below 3. The expected FIP's a little bit elevated. That's because he doesn't have strikeout stuff, which is usually what you expect when you have a guy that's less than 1K per inning, which is where he is with his major league stats. This is a Boston lineup that should tee off on him. Again, look at the odds. The odds are telling you Boston's basically a road favorite, if not, that's a pick 'em here. So clearly they think Boston's going to compete in this game. And I would say over team total, over runs. Although betting an over 4.5 on a total on a road pick 'em when the game total's 8.5, I don't know if there's any value there. But yeah, if I had to pick this one, I'd say Red Sox in the over.
Yeah, you know what I'm struggling with here is, obviously we were talking about at the very beginning of the show how we both Saturday morning have other obligations early. And I gave this one out as over 3.5. I laid $1.40.
I like that better.
3.5 happily, right? Even laying the $1.40 as opposed to plus money on 4.5.
Well, because again, the game total's 8.5,
right?
And they're saying that the Rangers, while not favored, are going to account for most of that. So Yeah, you're kind of going against the market there a little bit by betting an over 4.5, because if they get to 5, well, then the game's going to go over. You might as well just bet the over.
Right. Rangers are just 3.5, or rather 3 for 25, I should say, against Tanner Houck. They've really struggled this lineup against Houck. So I don't understand.
Surprised the Red Sox aren't favored then. With Houck on the mound against like a backup.
Right. I understand the total at 8.5, but I would think that that there'd be more of a variance in the odds on the side of Boston being a favorite. Like, I thought this one would be Sox minus 130, Rangers plus 110.
Boston should be favored here with Houck. I didn't know he was pitching. He's one of their better pitchers.
Red Sox first 5 is over 2.5 at plus 120.
Yeah, that's intriguing too. How's the Rangers bullpen been this year? I think that's the key. I'll look that up right now.
Right. I mean, Kirby Yates has been a stud at the back end.
Yeah, Yates has been a stud. But if you're relying on the 9th inning for your runs, then you didn't make a great bet.
Right. Exactly. Hey, another first 5 play that really intrigues me. I want your thoughts. The Tampa Bay Rays going to Houston, and I like the Stros run line first 5. So they just have to have a lead by 1. For those of you that, because obviously the run line can get complicated. Full game, you got to win by 2 or more. First half, you just have to have a lead. A tie is not a push. It's a loss when you go run line. So I'm thinking about Ronel Blanco at home, and the fact that at home he has an opposing batting average of just $1.56. Zach Littell on the road has an ERA near 6. 5.81 road ERA for Zach Littell. The Stros first 5 this year, they're a top 10 first 5 team against the run line. Tampa, in terms of their record against the run line, is 26th in baseball. And the Astros are 5th in all of Major League Baseball in runs per game at home, averaging 4.93 runs per game at home this year. Altuve also top of the lineup. He should get maybe 3 at-bats in the first 5 innings. He's 3 for 3 against Littell. Small sample size, but 3 for 3 nonetheless. So I like Houston. Only had to lay 5 cents on this. Minus 105, first 5 run line.
Yeah, and the Rays really struggle against righties. 3rd lowest average in the majors this year against right-handed batters. I saw one of the prop experts that I trust on Blanco's under 4.5 hits allowed tonight, which, again, if you're a big prop betting guy, I think the prop market with the pitchers, it's you kind of heard Joe and I just talk through the handicap. Like, we both got to a similar handicap, right? We're fading the Rays. We're play on Houston, play off Tampa, but there's other ways to do it. So I'm not saying either one of our ways are right or wrong here, but the point is there are many different ways to bet baseball when you have a general consensus for how the script is going to play out. In this case, first 5.
Please stand by for this special presentation of the iMedia One Network on the Live 365 Network and the Live 365 app.
And we welcome you to Lieutenant J.C. Stonefield here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania, as Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One Network are proud to bring you Cleveland Cobras football here in Week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. The Cobras, they have to make the return trip to Allison Park to take on the WPA Wildcats. Hello, everyone. Jim Craven with you, along with the incomparable Mark Means and Dave FFID Ferris on the road again. We're on the road again, but in a familiar scenario here. The Cobras, they get a second shot at the Wildcats. They're trying to overcome the 28-0 shutout last week here in Week 1. And we know it's hard to beat a team twice in one season, let alone twice back-to-back, but still an uphill battle for the Cobras.
Yeah, definitely coming on the road is always going to be a challenge. But in a case like this, it's a familiar opponent. It's someone that you know from playing last week, and it's fresh in your mind. You can make some adjustments. They got good numbers that traveled for the game here this late afternoon, so things are setting up for a good matchup.
And certainly one of the conversations that was had this week with the coaching staff and the players is that we have one advantage this week. We have that film. We can see what we need to do, what adjustments we need to make, almost like a blueprint that was in front of them, and that has become very important this week. The question is, how are they going to execute compared to last week?
And you've got the guy that I like to call the difference maker on the field. We see him warming up right now. We got Ben Lyons, who could be a huge difference in a close game.
Certainly in the playoffs here, Ben Lyons has been good from 40 to 45 yards on a natural grass surface. And Ben Lyons is kind of the unicorn at this level in terms of kickers. Not a lot of great kickers at this level. We see him warming up right now from the 32. So about a 49-yard field goal here on what should be a decent day. And despite maybe what the coach might say, this might be a guy that Cleveland will love today, depending on the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, like I said, he's a difference maker on all phases that he's going to be involved in. Whether it's extra points, which we see a lot of teams forego that completely, kicking field goals, kicking off, and punting. The guy does it all, and he does it at a high level.
Certainly, if you've seen the film from last week, one of the things we know Cleveland has to improve on is getting pressure on Paul Jones in the backfield for the Wildcats. Certainly that front, they're saying they're going to come out in a front three here, start out in a front, a four-man front earlier this season, but they're going to have to get some pressure on him, take away that aspect of the game. Even with the game that Cam McCauley had last week, a lights-out corner play on the one-on-one side for the Cobras. They're going to need to put some pressure on and take that aspect away from the Wildcats.
Right, get him off his spot, get him throwing off that back foot, get him uncomfortable, get him forcing him to maybe run the football a little bit, get him out of that tackle box, and force him to make some decisions under pressure.
Certainly last week saw he had a lot of time in the backfield when he was able to go through his first, second, and third options on the offense for Cleveland, though. It's going to start up front with the front five. It sounds cliche. It always sounds like that's what we say. But in this instance, it is certainly going to be key for Cleveland as Dave Thompson is looking for time to either get the ball downfield or they got to get Emmett Calhoun and Javon Washington in the running game. They got to get them going.
Yeah, it's one of those where, it sounds simplified, but in a game like this, coming off of a matchup like it was last week, one of the big keys is just not letting the other team have the football, and that's keyed by running the ball and running the clock.
Yeah, certainly make a great point, and not only not getting the ball, but getting it inside of Cleveland territory on several occasions. You really put your defense in a bad situation that way.
Right, you're asking them to work off of a short field, which is difficult for the best defenses on any level because you give up a couple of plays, you're in the red zone right away, you got a chance to put points on the board.
Turning out to be a great day here in Allison Park. We're going to step aside for a timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Tri-Point Football League playoff schedule here in Tier 1 and Tier 2. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, all a part of the iMedia One network.
The Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Meludic Live is your home for high school sports. We have all the scores on our social media platforms throughout the games. Enjoy our timely updates from local area schools year-round. You won't get the consistency and reliability from anyone else. Our #1 priority is servicing our fans and getting them live news as it's happening. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meludic_live. And remember, our fans come first.
The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club Fitting Center, and an Odyssey Fitting Studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112. Cleveland Cobras Game Day continues here from J.C. Stonefield in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Take a look at the rundown here. Tier 2 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. And Mark, the West Virginia Leviathan, they come in at 6-2. They get the bye week. That's a big thing for them, especially waiting for somebody to come down to West Virginia in week 2 of those playoffs.
Yeah, it's always tough to go down there and play. And you look at Tier 2, top to bottom, that whole Tier 2 is pretty close within each other. I think that's going to be a good run to the championship.
Take a look at a 4-5 matchup. The Tuscarawas County Warriors, they're going to host the Mahoning Valley Federals. Of course, that game will be on CityView Sportscast, 7:15 airtime, 7:30 kickoff. So a little bit later kickoff there. But for the Mahoning Valley Federals, they got to travel down south a little bit to Tuscarawas County. Always at a disadvantage to this level when you have to travel.
Absolutely, always tough to go on the road. A team they played during the regular season, so they're familiar with them. They have some film on them. So we'll have to see if they can make some adjustments and make it to round 2.
Now, the 3-6 matchup will be the Ohio Bears coming in at 4-4. They'll host the Appalachian Thunder at 2-6. The Thunder winning a couple games here in the second half of the season, and that will follow up with the Ohio Legends at 2-6, heading over to Canton to take on the Stark County Wolfpack at 4-4. That'll be a 2-7 matchup. Take a look at Tier 1. Here's a little controversy last week. You and I watched the game online with the Erie Express and the Columbus Fire. Columbus Fire up 19-11 there in the fourth quarter. Things quite didn't end the way we had hoped.
No, I mean, you anticipated that game for a few weeks, hoping that matchup would turn out the way that they did. Some things happened on the field. The game called early, and the Fire give the Express their first loss of the year.
Yeah, certainly no big issue there, as both teams will have home games today. It'll be the Columbus Fire taking on the Beaver County Arctic Bengals. The Bengals coming in at 3-5. The Fire showing 8-0. Erie, and we don't know what the rationale was behind that in terms of why that decision was made. Erie takes the loss. They're 7-1. However, Erie not a 7-1 team.
No, definitely not. If they're not the best team in the Tri-Point Football League, they're amongst the best teams, and I feel like that's just going to give Paul Pennington and that Express team some motivation to get back to and maybe face the Fire again.
Yeah, certainly two familiar foes coming over from the Premier Amateur Football League over to the Gridiron Developmental Football League and subsequently here in the Tri-Point Football League. The Steel City Bobcats at 6-2. They will get the forfeit win over the Port City Spartans. We've been down there. We've seen that. We don't know if the travel was an issue. We really don't know what the reasoning was with that, but the Bobcats will move on to face the winner of the 2023 Tri-Point Football League champions, the Ohio Gladiators, 3-5 on the season this year. They have the unenviable task to go to Erie to take on the Express at 7-1. And for the Gladiators, and we just mentioned Erie, one of the best in the league, and arguably number one. Big task there for the Gladiators.
It is, but you know what? They're not a 3-5 football team. They've got a lot of experience. They did a lot of great things last year. I think this is going to be a really good first-round game. Tough to go to Erie on the road and play and win, but I think that's going to be a good matchup.
Well, as far as here today, we take a look at the weather and looked kind of ominous there earlier in the week here. We thought we were going to have some showers and thunderstorms. 77 degrees here now, however, kind of humid here. We talked about the moisture here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania, but 66% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Really no wind to speak of. 6 miles an hour out of the west. So overall, though, really shouldn't have any kind of effect on the game.
It reminds me when you always talk about the weather. It reminds me of the first game we did together, way back. That game affected by lightning that didn't really ever appear in the sky. And that game was called before, I believe, the end of the third quarter, and we weren't able to go back because we all had other obligations for broadcast the next day.
Yeah, ironically, the Tuscarawas County Central Catholic, I believe that was, and the Lisbon Blue Devils.
Mm-hmm.
Is my memory good?
It was at Lisbon. I remember that for a fact.
Yeah, certainly. Mary's Pizza down there.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
And that's one thing to remember. If you've ever in Lisbon, Mary's Pizza, very thick crust, outstanding taste. Can't complain.
We need to make a trip there.
Absolutely, yeah. That's going to have to be just one of those days we just head down there.
Yes.
And then we'll submit the bill for the advertisement anyway. We'll step aside for another timeout. When we come back, we'll get you ready for this round one playoff here between the Cleveland Cobras and the WPA Wildcats. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras Game Day here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network. We're right back after this.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard, or call 234-254-8532.
Feeling dehydrated or sluggish? Did you enjoy your Phantoms game just a little too much? We can help you get back on track and hydrated in record time. With our vitamin-infused IV drips, we'll have you feeling healthy and energized so you can get back to your busy schedule. Whether you want to boost your immune system, increase your energy, or stay healthy through the winter months, we can help. Find us on Facebook or theyoungstowndrip.com and book your appointment today.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
See them knocking at the front door, leaving me less than what I had before.
Johnson in shotgun, one receiver to the near side. Send a man in motion, slot. That'll be the slot receiver to Golson. Quick pass over the middle, and he's going to hit Abe Taylor for the touchdown, 11 yards.
Run for cover, might get loud. From the bottom to the top, yeah. Our echoes break walls. It's about to get loud.
Wallace is the quarterback. Johnson is the tailback to his left. 4th down and just about 5. Wallace back to pass. Offensive line gives him time. Going to take a deep shot. Has a man wide open in the end zone for the touchdown.
Sweat and blood, don't let your guard down.
He'll try a 31-yard field goal. Steve Anthony on the snap, and Townsend will be the holder. Snap is back, kick is up, and it is good. So with 2:25 left here in the fourth quarter.
See them knocking at the front door, leaving me less than what I had before. Run for cover, cause it might get loud. It's about to get loud.
Live from J.C. Stonefield here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network, is proud to bring you Cleveland Cobras football here, playoffs, week 1. As we travel down here to the Keystone State, Jim Craven with you, along with the incomparable Mark Means. Dave FFID Ferris pushing all the buttons, making us sound good as we have the coin toss going on at midfield.
You going to tell us one day what that stands for?
No.
Or never?
Never.
I've always wanted to know.
It's one of those things that's going to perplex the world. There's only 2 people that know. Well, 3. One of them's trying to make me say it. Is all the captains here from both teams out at midfield for the coin toss here. And Cleveland, again, last week, 28-0. Got shut out for the first time in a long time. A little disheartening for the Cobras, of course, on the road, traveled a little bit light. But from a number side there, Mark, things not looking, probably not in the Cobras' favor, but playoffs, a different animal.
It is. You bring a different intensity. You bring a different effort. It's all about win or go home at this point now that the playoffs have begun. Let's look at some of the numbers for these 2 teams. For the visiting Cobras, they come in averaging just about 15 points per game offensively, giving up just about 20 points per game defensively. The Wildcats scoring at 18 points per game, but they're giving up less than 10 points. A rounded up to 9 points per game they give up defensively on the year.
Yeah, and this is a team that didn't come in with a very good record. Last week they were 3-4. They finished the season at 500.
But the interesting thing about this team is they were the team that gave Erie fits. They lost twice to them, 7-0.
Yeah, and certainly you wonder if it's one of those situations where they're playing up to the competition, or and it's got to certainly frustrate the coaching staff.
It is. You never really know, and like you said, the numbers, they're good for the Cobras. They're better for the Wildcats playing here at home, and you always want to stay at home as long as you can in the postseason.
Coin toss has been had. WPA is going to win the coin toss. They will defer to the second half, and the Cobras will get an opportunity to get the ball offensively. They're going to get an opportunity to get something started. We talked about that front 5 is going to be key to give Dave Thompson the time and to get Emmett Calhoun and Javon Washington time to find those holes and get upfield.
Yeah, those guys have had their moments throughout the year. They ran the football really well early on in the season, and it hasn't been an area of success for them in the second half of the year. So we'll have to see if those 5 guys that make the football team go can get it rolling today.
Certainly, we will be looking forward to those 5 up front, going to be led by Lamorris Dillard at center for the Cobras, and they'll be looking for big plays out of Javon Washington, who's had a couple big games, was a player of the week for the Cobras, and he's a kind of a running back that is a one cut and go. Emmett Calhoun, more of a hit the hole, very fast type back, and that's what they're going to need today to take away that reaction time from the linebackers.
Yeah, Emmett Calhoun reminds me of an Eric Metcalf type player. He's that guy. You don't know where he's going to line up on the field when you set up defensively.
Yeah, certainly they got more opportunities this year as T.J. Johnson went down week 1 with an injury, and that put him out for the season. So it's been running back by committee, but those 2 have carried the they've had the predominant number of carries for the Cobras as Ben Lyons and the return team, not Ben Lyons. They will not be kicking off. Cobras return team lining up on the field, and again, they're going to be looking for mistake-free football too, Mark. We saw a couple weeks ago against Columbus the penalties mount up, and then after the penalties, kind of you've seen the mental aspect coming in, the oh no, not again type thing, and it snowballed on them. That's something they're going to have to avoid early.
It's simple to say, but penalties and turnovers, especially when you are on the road, make the difference in winning a football game and moving on to the next round.
And we are just seconds away from kickoff here, round 1. And I believe this is going to be the earliest game played in the Tri-Point Football League. Everybody else kicking off after this, the latest game in Tier 2, as the Mahoning Valley Federals will travel down to Tuscarawas County to take on the Warriors. You can hear that game at 7:15 over on City View Sportscast. 7:30 kickoff. As we get the whistle for play here, Raphael Hurd to kick off for the Wildcats. This one going to be a short kick, fielded at the 25-yard line, brought it to the 30, 35. Going to cut back to the middle. Javon Washington with one cut out to the 40, 42-yard line is where he'll make it to, and that's where they will start over. 1st and 10 here to get this game going first quarter.
And that's fantastic field position to begin your first drive. You want to take advantage of that low line drive, very returnable kick by Washington, sets them up with great field position for their opening drive.
Yeah, the nice thing about that is the playbook becomes a little bit more wider at that point. A lot of things open as Cleveland will have the ball 1st and 10 14:53 here, first quarter. If you're just joining us here at J.C. Stone Field in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Mark Means with you, Jim Craven.
Not a bad
Dave
view
Ferris.
of that scoreboard either.
Not at all. And we talked about this before. Again, a little bit odd for us. No field we've been to has had a scoreboard directly across from us. Kind of frustrating if you're Adam Rogers and you got to check the clock behind you. But nonetheless, first and 10 as Cleveland will make some exchanges here.
Interesting, both teams substituting before coming out of the huddle for the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of chess match we get. And I apologize, that was Malik Gaddy on the return. As Emmett Calhoun will start in the backfield now to the right of Thompson. They'll go 2-by-2. They'll send a man in motion, give it to him on the jet sweep to the far side. And going to get upfield near the midfield stripe, and he'll be knocked out of bounds. See where they mark it, but it's going to be a pickup of 8 or 9 on the play.
I like that call. Putting a little bit of a wrinkle, something you haven't seen a lot from them this year, into the playbook, trying to take advantage of their speed to the outside.
Tyree Knight on the carry for the Cobras. Tyree Knight with a great catch against Columbus a couple of weeks ago. There, a big play there. Got to watch that from a distance, and we give him some open field, and he can be a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of receivers that can stretch the field if given the opportunity.
Well, certainly this is going to – that'll be dictated by the play of the offensive line. As the Cobras now, they'll go 3 receivers to the far side now. Moving right to left on your devices if you're listening on Live 365 or Tunein. Thompson in the shotgun, Calhoun to his right. D'Angelo Thompson, he'll move him into the hash marks. One high safety for WPA. They're showing pressure as he'll move Calhoun now to his left hip. Thompson with the hard count. 3-step drop, going to fire out to Calhoun on the swing pass. Emmett will cut back in, and he'll get out to the 49-yard line. May have picked up a yard on the play. It'll bring about 3rd and 3 for the Cobras.
I like the play calling early with that extra safety playing up in the box. You want to take advantage, get to the edges, try to turn the ball upfield, and I like the aggressive game plan to start this drive.
So a 3rd and manageable play for the Cobras. 3rd and 3, 13:20 left here, first quarter. No score if you're just joining us. Cobras get the ball to start this game. WPA winning the toss. They'll defer to the second half. And that was a problem for the Cobras last week. They went into halftime 28-0, also had to kick the ball off in the second half. Cobras back to the line now. Again, Calhoun will stay to the right of Thompson in the shotgun. Be D'Angelo Thompson and Tyree Knight, the receivers to the near side. 2 up high as well. Hand off to Calhoun, trying to find a hole past the 50-yard line. He'll get to the 49. He'll be about a yard short here, depending. And now they're going to say first down. So maybe a generous spot, but nonetheless, I'm sure Cleveland will take it.
Absolutely. That was definitely a generous spot. It looked like about a little less than a yard shy of the sticks, but he'll give him the first down. And that's the thing about Emmett Calhoun. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he's also not afraid to run the ball up the middle between the tackles.
Certainly, how we talked in pregame, he likes to hit the holes fast. Doesn't really make that one cut, maybe like a Javon Washington, a different type of runner, but certainly in a case like that, gives him a first down. So 1st and 10 in WPA territory. They'll mark the ball at the 48-yard line. 12:06 here on a running clock. Twin receivers to the far side. That'll be Jerry Cecil and Matt Wise. 3 receivers now as Tyree Knight will line up as a wing to the right. D'Angelo Thompson single one-on-one to the bottom as Thompson with the count now. Javon Washington now in the backfield. He'll send Knight in motion from right to left. Thompson taking his time. He'll try to get him with the hard count. A lot of pressure shown up front. He'll give it to Washington. He'll get near the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 11 for the Cobras.
Running room that time for Washington just got swallowed up as soon as he hit the line of scrimmage. And that's a big opening drive already into Wildcats territory.
Yeah, you see almost 10 men lined up, just 2 or 3 yards off the ball so far. And WPA showing pressure, trying to shut that run down. You wonder if Cleveland looking for them outside one-on-one matchups if they're trying to set something up.
You definitely see early they're trying to take this running game away with the box loaded up to see if there's maybe some drag routes or some slants to take advantage of everybody being pushed up.
So all 4 wide receivers now to the right of Thompson. Washington now going to move out to the receiver to the left now. Thompson will be in the empty backfield. 10:48 here on a running clock. First quarter, no score. Hard count from Thompson. WPA showing pressure. Quick pass out to the far side to Wise. Wise going to catch it. Make it past the 50-yard line, and He'll make it out to the 47. He'll get just about a yard past the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd and 9 now for the Cobras.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit on that catch. That was a fastball from Slap Thompson and a great hands catch. Only able to get upfield for a couple of yards, but showing off how good his hands really are.
Yeah, for Matt Wise, maybe the catch of the year in the league last year, down at the goal line, went up one-handed, and it went so high, it looked like he should have a pilot's license to get that one, and it was an absolutely amazing catch. And he has been one of the good spirits on the team. Always a smile, always having a good time, loves football. So 3 receivers to the far side now, Washington in the backfield. Tyree Knight will be one-on-one with Nelson Caldwell to the bottom. 9:50 left here, first quarter. 3rd and 9 for the Cobras. Thompson taking his time. 3-step drop, looks out to his right, fires, and it's going to be almost picked off at the 28-yard line. It's going to be dropped by Brandon Humphrey, and almost a miscue by Dave Thompson.
He fired that into at least 3 orange jerseys, trying to get it to his receiver, and that's something we've always seen from him. Thompson has a lot of confidence in his arm strength.
Yeah, certainly not afraid to take shots downfield, as we'll have 4th and 9 now for the Cobras, and they'll bring in Ben Lyons, and maybe a little more comfortable punting this week, maybe playing the field position game, as I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be Sean Dixon Roberts back to return for WPA. Lions on the punt. He'll post up right around his own 40-yard line. 9:38 left here, first quarter. Cobra stalling out here on the first drive. Waiting for the snap. Lions not available last week. Low snap. Lions will get it off the turf. And this one going to be an end-over-end punt, high and short. It'll land at the 24 and take a roll into the hands of a WPA player who will try to work his way around, get out to the 30, and be brought down. And I think that was Brandon Humphrey on the return on that one. And I don't know if Coach Johnny Ray is going to be happy with that one. That's a risk to take.
That's definitely a risk in an area like that with a lot of traffic. He was able to make the play on the football, get a little bit off the return, but I still like the idea of punting the football here, trying to play that field position game and pin him back deep as best you can.
Yeah, unfortunately, only a 16-yard punt for Cleveland, but it will put WPA back at their own 31-yard line. 9:24 left here, first quarter. Game 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. John Bynum will check in for WPA. He had a great game last week, finding a lot of open field. Robert Richard also checking in for WPA. Looks like the Wildcats having a little question about personnel. They'll come now to the line. 1 receiver to each side. 2 backs each to the hip of Paul Jones in the shotgun. Twin receivers now to the near side, moving left to right. 9:24 left here, first quarter. I'll hand this one off to Bynum. Bynum going to move his way down to the 35-yard line. Excuse me, that's going to be Drew Carswell on the carry. So they'll call that a pickup of 3. Okay, that was number 8, not a number 2. Excuse me. Okay, that was Tyree Bush. Get another one. Successful running game last week for WPA. Went with multiple backs. Bush, of course, wearing his jersey up under his shoulder pads, so thankfully Mark can see him. They'll give it to Bynum this time off the left side. And he'll fight his way out past the 35 down to the 37-yard line and bring up 3rd down. Just about 4 for WPA.
You know, it's not an over-exaggeration to say this is a big 3rd down. Yes, it's early on. Yes, it's their first possession. But you were able to move the football a little bit before you had to punt. Now you put a team in a 3rd down and 5, and we'll have to see what they decide to do.
Yeah, field position, as we talked about, going to be key for Cleveland. 3-man front this week. Andy Code back. Kevin Green on the near defensive end. Paul Jones in the shotgun, Bynum to his right. Going to plant his feet. Quick pass out, and he'll throw this one into the turf, intended for Raphael Hurd. That'll bring up 4th down for the Wildcats.
I don't know if they saw something on the film, but they sent 2 from the edge that were ever so close to being offsides, but timed that perfectly well. I don't know if they heard or saw something in the snap count, but they read that play perfectly.
And certainly Cleveland's going to have to get some pressure on Paul Jones. If not, could be another long day for the Cobras. So they'll bring in the punt team. DeMonte Brownfield. Oh, could be wrong on that. Trying to see who the number on that. Maybe it's Charles Green on for the punt. 8:08 left here, first quarter. No score. And they'll get this one away. It'll be a decent punt. It'll head towards the Cobra sideline and out of bounds near the 34-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. But Cobras will get the ball for the second time this afternoon after stalling out on their first drive. And still not bad field position.
No, you know what? No points on the board, but no points given up. I like the way they've started this game off. You can see some adjustments they've already made from the matchup just a week ago.
And certainly we talked about it from the mental aspect, the oh no, here we go again type thing. If WPA were to have that first successful drive, and for Cleveland, I'm sure I would know, at least as a player, that would build some confidence for you, knowing you can stop that offense.
Right. I mean, you moved the ball, you got the initial first down and opening possession. Punt came up a little bit short, but you've got to be happy with the way things are going at the 8:01 mark of this opening quarter.
So first and 10 from the Cleveland 35-yard line. We'll go twin receivers to each side. Washington and Knight will be the receivers to the near side. They'll actually go trips to the far side now. Washington now going to go back to the backfield. He'd be to the left of Dave Thompson. Thompson in the shotgun. Thompson with a three-step drop, looking out to his right. Fires over the middle and caught by Matt Wise at the 49 on the WPA side. And another high catch for Matt Wise, and he is becoming a threat over that middle.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of fearless receivers on this team, not afraid to go up and make plays. And it's interesting. They are doubling one receiver with the safety to the far side, but there's no help here to the near side closest to us. That's a one-on-one matchup, and when that one-on-one matchup turns into Tyree Knight, number 2, I like that in the Cobras' favor.
Yeah, certainly we've seen him have some big moments as the clock continues to run here. 7:21 left here, first quarter, no score. Cleveland with the ball, first and 10 at the WPA 47-yard line. I'll go trip receivers to the right of Thompson now. Again, one-on-one here at the bottom with Tyree Knight. Washington to the left of Thompson. Pressure being shown by the front 7 of WPA. Three-step drop by Thompson, looking over the middle. Pump fakes, fires, and he's going to overthrow his receiver. And again, kind of risky there. A lot of orange jerseys. Was looking for Matt Wise again, but fortunately going to go over everybody's head.
You know, with the single high safety and them crowding the box, there's a lot of room right down the field in that 12 to 15-yard area where you can run some drag routes or some slants that might be available against the way this defense is lining up.
Yeah, you wonder if at some point they may be looking at an Abe Taylor in a tight end position, maybe just on that quick release. As Abe Taylor, a really tall tight end. He's a great target. Not sure if he's available today, to be quite honest. Didn't see him out there, but again, we'll go 3 receivers to the far side. Jerry Cecil will be the single receiver to the near side. He'll be one-on-one with Nelson Caldwell. Thompson in the shotgun. Thompson with the hard count, trying to dry off the Wildcats. He'll give it to Washington. Washington making one cut out to the right side. He'll go down. A flag will come in, and unfortunately in the area of holding. One WPA player slow to get up near the far hash mark, but he'll work his way up. Holding indeed coming up against Cleveland, and first penalty today against the Cobras. It'll be declined, and WPA will take the result of the play.
And, you know, this is a good group of officials. Dave had a chance to talk to the umpire when we were visiting the concession stand. It's a college crew, and that means not only is it an experienced crew, but it's a crew that's worked together. And you know from your experience on the sidelines, when you work as a group like that, you're in the right position. You can help each other out and make the right call.
It is absolutely huge. Actually, when you work like a crew, you compensate for each other. If one misses something, somebody will pick it up. You can tell by the uniforms of the officials, they have letters instead of numbers, or the high school uniforms. As Jerry Cecil and Emmett Calhoun will be the receivers to the near side. D'Angelo Thompson and Matt Wise to the far side. And Cleveland is going to take their first time out. 6:13 left here, first quarter. No score. We'll step aside for a quick break. You are listening to the Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network. We're right back after this.
The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club Fitting Center, and an Odyssey Fitting Studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Tyree Knight, number 2 of the Cleveland Cobras, and you're listening to the Tri-Point Football League on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One Network. Go Cobras.
6:13 left here, first quarter. No score, 3rd and 10 for the Cobras. Ball at the WPA 47-yard line. Cobras with the holding penalty was declined by the Wildcats. And that shows a lot of confidence in your defense when you don't want to put the Cobras back on their side of the field. So empty backfield for Cleveland this time. 3 receivers up high, 2 low. That'll be Jerry Cecil and Emma Calhoun, the twin receivers to the near side. Jerry Cecil one-on-one. One high safety again for WPA, and I think you make a great point, Mark, here as Thompson waits for the snap. 3-step drop for Thompson. Pump fakes, fires over the middle. That's going to be caught by D'Angelo Thompson at the 35, and he'll drag a couple of WPA players down to the 24. Ball will come loose, but he's going to be down, and a dart thrown by Dave Thompson.
You know, and I like the decision-making there. He had a receiver he thought he could get the football to, didn't want to force it, pulled it down, went to his next option, and turned out to be an even bigger play.
Now we got to absolutely take notice of the offensive line, giving him tons of time there, spreading out the WPA defense as they'll have the ball 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Washington and Thompson coming in with the play from the sideline. 5:25 left here, first quarter, no score. Cleveland with their second possession of the day. Cobras punting on their first outing on offense. Oh, Mark, I kind of like the tempo, too. Not in a rush. Kind of on our time.
Right, and that's one of those where, we talked about it. The other team, they can't score if they don't have the football. You're doing well moving the ball, so keep it up.
And again, Ben Lyons available today, kicker for the Cobras, and he has been good from 40 to 50 yards. It's Thompson now in a shotgun. Washington to his left. Jerry Cecil one-on-one at the bottom. 3 receivers to the right of Slap Thompson. Dave, 3-step drop, looking out to his right, fires it, gets it out to Calhoun at the 20, pass at 15 down the 14-yard line. We got a flag on the play, though, and it came in from the head linesman. And we'll see what the call is from our referee. And it's going to be an ineligible man downfield for Cleveland, so that play will be nullified. I think WPA is going to take this one.
Well, despite the fact that play is wiped out by the penalty, I'm going to go all the way back to pregame warm-ups when Thompson was throwing to his receivers. His ball placement has been really crisp today. That ball thrown perfectly in stride to lead Calhoun to the boundary. He is really placing the ball well so far this first half.
And one good thing that we see this week, has a lot of time here so far. Talked to the coaching staff this week again. They were big on the fact they had film. They knew what the adjustments they had to make, and the game planning became a little bit more apparent as Jerry Cecil now will be the receiver to the near side. There'll be 3 receivers now to this side. Tyree Knight and Emmett Calhoun will join him. Matt Wise, a single receiver to the top. Washington to the right of Thompson in the shotgun. 3:52 left here, first quarter, as Thompson giving some direction to Matt Wise. Low snap. Pump fake, under pressure for the first time. Thompson going to take it past the 25. He'll drop his shoulder and get to the 20-yard line, down maybe to the 19, depending on the spot. And Dave Thompson absolutely made his acquaintance with Teddy Blakeman, and wow. Not bad for a quarterback.
And that's not what you expect when you see someone coming up to fill the gap, and they end up going backwards when you take a shoulder from the quarterback.
And if you are the coaching staff, maybe you want to encourage him to slide a little. We need him for 4 quarters. But a big hit by Dave Slap Thompson. Again, week 1 of the playoffs here. They'll mark the ball at the 19-yard line, 3:08 as the clock continues to run. And really the first time that Thompson has seen any pressure today is Wise now. Single receiver to the far side, trip receivers to the near side. That'll be Knight, Calhoun, and Cecil. Washington remaining in the backfield. E.J. Bibbs giving some last-second instructions. Bibbs, the right tackle for the Cobras. Great snap there. Thompson looking down the sideline. It's going to be caught and then out of bounds at the 3-yard line by Emma Calhoun. And Calhoun showing his ability to do everything here. Run the ball, catch it. He is a key weapon.
Right. I mean, just a couple of years ago, he was a primary wide receiver. Now we've seen him play more at the tailback spot. But the thing that I'm really liking is not only are they giving Thompson time to throw the football, but he had options. He could have gone a couple of different ways with that football, and he gets the first and goal with Calhoun.
Emma Calhoun becoming the Swiss Army knife for the Cobras as they'll go into pistol formation. We'll have one running back to the right of Thompson. Javon Thompson, Washington with the tailback ball on the turf, and it's going to be covered up by the Cobras. Some miscommunication on the handoff, but it'll be covered up by Cleveland. It'll bring up 2nd and goal now for the Cobras.
And we're going to take another quick timeout here.
So the officials now, Cleveland taking their second timeout. 2:11 left here, first quarter. We'll step aside for a break. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One network.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
This is number 79, Josh Jackson, and you're listening to Cleveland Cobras football on iMedia One Network. Let's get it.
Josh Jackson to bring us back here out of the timeout. So 2nd and goal for Cleveland. Ball now at the 5-yard line. Miscommunication on the handoff. It hits the turf, but covered up by Cleveland. They take their second timeout here in the first half. Again, Mark, they have a mistake like that. They're going to take their time, work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. A little miscommunication on the exchange with the quarterback and the running back, but this time on the ball, right there to grab it, keep possession. You got to come away with at least 3 points this deep into the Wildcats territory.
So 2nd and goal from the 5. I'll go twin receivers to each side. Thompson in the shotgun. They'll send Knight in motion from left to right. Thompson over the middle, caught in the end zone, touchdown Cleveland, 5 yards, and I believe that was D'Angelo Thompson on the reception. And the Cobras take a 6-0 lead with 2:06 left here in the first quarter. Trying to get the number on it, if that was 6 or 8, hard to tell. But nonetheless, Cleveland takes a 6-0 lead.
Thompson Jr. with a touchdown pass.
So Thompson to Thompson. Sounds like a law firm. Thompson and Thompson from 5 yards out. Gives the Cobras a 6-0 lead. 2:06 left here first quarter. Ben Lyons on the field for the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. And they're saying there's a flag. There is on the near side here, out of our view.
And one of the outside gunners for the Wildcats came across the line before they snapped the ball.
Well, and I'm sure they will decline that. And indeed they will. So that will make the extra point good. 7-0 is the lead for Cleveland. 2:06 left here in the first quarter, and you couldn't ask for a better drive than that.
No, absolutely. Mixed in the running game a little bit, but there are options for Thompson to throw the football here in this opening quarter. Not only giving him time, but the way they're playing the safety in the box to take away the run, there's a lot of matchups for him to choose from.
So unlike last week, Cleveland will not be shut out. They take a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter, and there's got to be some relief there knowing, we can move the ball on this team.
I think it's a huge confidence builder. You move the ball in your first possession, you score a touchdown in your second possession, and you get a stop defensively. They have really made some key adjustments. You said that film was huge between last week and the way things have started this week.
Yeah, certainly. You look at almost like an instruction manual on what you need to do. As Ben Lyons will come on for the kickoff. Lyons good for the touchbacks here as Raphael Hurd will be back to return for WPA. What a difference a week makes for Cleveland. This kick going to be a high kick fielded at the 15-yard line by Hurd. Hurd going to bring it up the far sideline, bring it inside to the hash marks. He'll pitch it over to the far side. And he'll get out to the 30, 35, and be brought down at the 37-yard line. Charles Green on the pitch. We'll give WPA better field position here with 1:56 left here first quarter.
Completely designed play. You can tell by the way the second returner positioned himself. Once they collapsed on Hurd, able to flip him the football, and only gave up a couple of yards after that little toss back. They were in good position special teams-wise, filling the lanes and making a play.
You can tell it's the playoffs, trying to take some chances here to get an advantage, but I don't know if I'd be doing that in the first quarter. Down by 7, that could be disastrous, but nonetheless, WPA with the ball. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard line. 1:56 left here first quarter. Paul Jones in the shotgun. He'll have a running back to each side, twin receivers to the far side. They'll send Carswell in motion from left to right. Thompson with the hand off to Bynum. Bynum upfield out to the 40 and down to the 44-yard line. Pickup of 8 for WPA. It'll be 2nd and 2 now for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Bynum, I'm impressed with what I've seen from so far. That type of running back that really leads with his shoulder square to the field with his momentum carrying him upfield, but also somebody that if you can get him low, you can trip him up and knock him down.
Yeah, certainly reminds you kind of a bowling ball, low and rolling, and he makes some contact as well as Jones now. Same formation. One receiver each side. Actually, it'll be twin receivers to the near side. They'll hand it off, move it upfield, past the 45, down to the 48-yard line. That's enough for a WPA first down.
It's either been great anticipation by this Cobras defense or they heard or saw something on the film because they are doing a great job anticipating the snap count here in the opening quarter.
So 3-man front this week here as you'll see Kevin Green, Stallworth, and trying to see who's on the far end there, but Kevin Green will be to the near side. Malik Gaddy actually at the linebacker position, showing some pressure. Paul Jones back to pass, going to be complete, and actually dropped at the 49-yard line. Pass was intended for Green. He went down to a knee and just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, every time you mention Kevin Green, I have terrible Browns fan flashbacks to the great Steelers linebacker Kevin Green.
Yeah, certainly built kind of the same at this level if you want to compare him. Tall and rangy. Quentin Wells also now on that front line for the Cobras. Corey Stallworth at the nose position. Stallworth, no small man himself. As Jones now back in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side. Quick pass. This time caught out at the 45, past the midfield stripe, and out of bounds at the Cleveland 45-yard line, picked up by Charles Green. And that'll bring up third down for WPA.
And again, we see that anticipating the snap count, getting into the backfield quickly, forcing the Wildcats to kind of go to this quick game here on this drive.
And certainly you don't want to be too aggressive either. We've seen that where they've gone upfield so far that they've opened up those lanes for other teams. You hear Coach all the time yelling about you get just ankle depth and then wait. But nonetheless, it'll be third down here, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter here after one. The Cobras take a 7-0 lead by way of a 5-yard pass from Slap Thompson to D'Angelo Thompson. WPA with the ball will step aside for a break. You are listening to Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One network.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future together. We are Youngstown State University, and now you know why.
3rd and 4 for WPA. They'll send Carswell in motion. Handoff to Bynum. Bynum going to drag his way all the way to the 40-yard line. He'll take a few Cobras with him. That'll be enough for a Wildcats first down.
He's a tough tackle. The way he runs with his shoulders square, he's actually seems like that type of back that he's searching for contact.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the kind of running back that would stutter step or look to cut.
I'm going to hit you, and I'm going to run you over.
Yeah, I was never fond of those guys.
And then I may tell you about it after the play's over.
So twin receivers to the far side. This time Green will be the outside receiver, one-on-one at the bottom. That'll be Cam McCauley, and we're going to have some movement up front, and that's going to be against Cleveland. Encroachment, you talked about anticipating the call. They got caught that time.
Absolutely. They had a choice of who they want to throw this penalty flag on.
Oh, and they're actually going to conversate about this just briefly, and encroachment will be the call. So it'll bring up 1st and 5. If you're the offensive coordinator for WPA, you love a 1st and 5 situation. Who doesn't?
Opens up the playbook, gives you a lot of options. It's almost like that shock play after a turnover. Really gives you a chance to attack downfield if you want to on this play.
Kind of a free play there. If you end up in a 2nd and 5, not bad as well. As Paul Jones now in the shotgun. They'll mark the ball to 35. Running backs to each side. Twin receivers to the far side. Single receiver to the near side. Cam McCauley one-on-one. With quite the game last week. Handoff to the outside this time, but Cam Wells going to bring him down. That's going to be about a 3-yard loss. And Cam Wells gets on your back. You're not going too far.
No, he read that play perfectly and then showed the speed to get to the outside to be able to not only get his hands on the ball carrier, but grabbed him, wrapped him up, and pulled him down for the tackle for loss.
Tyree Bush on the carry for WPA, and that's what they were missing last week. A lot of initial contact, but we're not able to bring down Bynum, especially last week. 13-15 left here, 2nd quarter. Cobras with a 7-0 lead. 2nd and 8. They got 2nd and 9, for WPA. Jones back to pass. 3-step drop, fires down the sideline. And it's going to be knocked away. And Kev Fortson on the coverage for the Cobras. Great defense, and the corner play has been outstanding for the Cobras the last couple weeks.
Yeah, excellent job to play the football and not the man and get a hand on that deep shot downfield. You know, just watching this offense up close for the first time kind of reminds me of an Ohio State type philosophy. We're going to be in the spread, but we're going to pound the football at you, and then whenever we want to, we're taking a shot over the top.
Yeah, Paul Jones with an arm, too. Makes it look effortless as he throws that one down the far sideline. 13:02 here on a stopped clock. 3rd and 8 for WPA. Jones in the shotgun. 1 running back to his left. 3 receivers to the near side. Raymond Dean, the sole receiver to the far side. Jones back a pass under pressure, and he's going to be brought down. Kevin Green will bring him down at the 48-yard line. It'll bring up 4th and long for WPA. And that is the pressure that the Cobras needed last week. They are getting it here in this rematch.
And they are getting it defensively. Malik Gowdy, though, a little slow to get up, getting a little bit of help from his teammates. But that big sack going to bring up a 4th down and long, and we've got a Wildcat player down at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that looks like Paul Jones. He's taking a second to get up. And we don't like to see that on either side of the ball. Paul Jones, a great player here in this league, here in any league, quite frankly. as he'll make his way to his feet and under a little bit of distress, but hopefully he'll be able to walk it off. And I think they're looking for Beth Betancourt to come on a check, or the trainer for the Cobras. Paul says, nope, I'm good. I'll make it to the sideline, but he's a tough guy, and I don't think that'll be the last time we see him today.
No, I think that was just one of those situations where he fell on the football, and anybody that's played knows that feeling. It just forces the air out of your lungs. It takes you a couple of minutes to really regain your breath to be able to go back in.
So Charles Green on the punt for WPA. He'll post up around his own 41-yard line. Tyree Knight to return. He'll mark himself right around the Cleveland 11-yard line. 12:25 left here, second quarter. Cobras with a 7-0 lead. As Wildcats find the right personnel. Sean Dixon Roberts says, well, okay, he's going to stay on. He said, I'll play some special teams. Greg Williams about halfway back between Knight and this line. Low snap. He'll get this one away to be a high end over end. And a good punt here. It'll take a WPA roll. Actually, Cleveland roll back to the 15 and down at the 15-yard line. Lateef Page taking, I don't know what he was doing, rolling over on the ball there, but Cleveland will take over 1st and 10 with 11:54 left here in the second quarter.
You couldn't ask for much more the way this game has started for the Cobras. They've been able to play exceptionally well defensively, force a couple of punts, and there's been receivers running open the last couple of possessions, and Thompson's had plenty of time to throw the football.
Well, certainly when they get momentum going their way, they play well. And these were teams that came in at 4-3 and 3-4 last week. So in terms of record, very even. But as you had mentioned, this was a WPA team that went down to a 7-0 game twice with the Erie Express.
Absolutely. And having seen a lot of teams in this league, having seen the Fire and the Express, Erie was the most impressive team I've seen this year.
So yeah, certainly from a player standpoint and certainly from an organizational standpoint, always one of the top-tier teams in the country. Rank them right up there with teams like the Racine Raiders and the Detroit Ravens. As Washington now will remain in the backfield with Thompson. Wise and D'Angelo Thompson, receivers to the near side. Tyree Knight will be the single receiver to the high side. We'll go with the tight end this time as well. 11:54 left here, second quarter. Cleveland 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Thompson with the hard count. 3-step drop, stepping up in the pocket under pressure, and he'll be brought down at the 10-yard line. And for the first time today, the WPA defense gets to the Cleveland Cobras quarterback.
That time they sent a little more than they could block, and he had trouble stepping up into the pocket to making a throw. And did you catch the line judge? Double duty as the back judge, raising his hand when the play clock was running down.
And you talked about a crew that's worked together here, so this is something normally the back judge would do that himself from midfield. But I'm sure that's a discussion they had before the game. So actually wearing the L, the line judge. Actually, the line judge has no letter. So out of position today, but so far so good. Thompson now in the shotgun. They'll go 2-by-2 on the receivers. Washington will remain in the backfield. 2nd and 15 for Cleveland. Thompson will take his time. He'll point out the defense. Quick pass out to D'Angelo Thompson's going to head out of bounds. Don't think it was thrown behind him, but the pass just completely off target.
It just didn't seem like he had a good grip on the football. Almost kind of shot-putted that football out there to the receiver. Luckily for everyone, it's just an incomplete pass, and it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, you look at Slap Thompson, you wonder if he's wearing a glove. Couldn't tell, but a humid day here, so there's a lot of moistures. Mark gets out the trusty old binoculars here. That'll tell us. But with the moisture here, a little bit of concern on how that ball is going to come off your hand. 10:55 left here, second quarter. Cleveland with a 7-0 lead, 3rd and 15. Now for the Cobras. They'll go 3 receivers to the far side. Matt Wise and D'Angelo Thompson will be the receivers to the near side. So Thompson with the gloves on. And we're going to have some movement on the right side. False start. Coming up against Cleveland, Savon with the my bad signal. So 3rd and 20. That'll move him back to the 5-yard line. So Ben Lyons punting out of his own end zone.
That was one of the more interesting moves I've seen from a lineman. Rather than get up and move upfield defensively 5 yards, he stayed on the ground and crawled those 5 yards on the turf. Never seen that before.
I think sometimes a little different at this level. Here's they'll go back to the 5 wide receiver set. 2 at the bottom, 3 at the top. Thompson standing in his own end zone. 3rd down, 10:25 left here, second quarter. Cobras with a 7-0 lead. Thompson back to pass, stepping up in the pocket, and he's going to be hit at the 1-yard line and brought down. Will not be a safety. He got out of the end zone, but definitely going to bring up 4th down for the Cobras. Nick Thompson for WPA, picking up the 2nd sack of the day for the Wildcats.
And they've really, once the Cobras got pinned back deep, they've turned up the pressure here on the last couple of plays and turned that into a pair of sacks.
And that tells me the Wildcat secondary doing a good job taking the options away as Thompson had to step up in the pocket. But nonetheless, 4th down from the 3-yard line. This drive started at the 15. They needed to get to the 25 for the 1st down. 9:33 left here as the clock continues to run. Ben Lyons with his heels right at the back of his end zone. And I think D'Angelo Thompson is going to be the long snapper for the Cobras as Lamoris Dillard will run onto the field to add one more to the right side of the offensive line. Cornelius Strickland also in here as well. Lyons waits for the snap. Low snap. Lyons going to get it. He'll get out of the end zone. It'll be a line drive. Caught at the 18-yard line. It's going to be returned to the 10, 5, and into the end zone for the Wildcat touchdown. Ben Lyons under pressure. Didn't get a good punt off. Went right into the hands of Brandon Humphrey. And the Wildcats get an 18-yard touchdown on a punt return. Kind of an awkward one at that. Almost like an interception if you look at it on film.
Yeah, it was a right place at the right time, and then you're talking about a fantastic athlete that got an immediate couple of blocks to work down the sidelines and into the end zone for the touchdown.
So the punt team, which has been one of the Achilles heels for Cleveland all season, gives up another touchdown here. 8:53 left here in the second quarter. And Brandon Humphrey gets the 18-yard punt return. WPA touchdown. Wildcats going to go for 2. Yeah. So 8:53 left here, second quarter. As I jot all this down here, again, we're Cleveland with the 7-6 lead pending the extra point. As Raphael Hurd will line up at quarterback in place of Paul Jones. You have a running back to each side. Hurd back to pass, under pressure, trying to get to the far side, looking for the corner, going to fire into the end zone, is going to be caught. And it will be good. 4-2 as we get a flag on the near side, though. And that'll come from our head linesman. So a false start or an illegal formation coming up against WPA. That will negate the extra point, and we will run this one over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know how good of an athlete Raphael Hurd is. They did a good job containing him. It looked like initially he wanted to take that football upfield, and he didn't have a chance through on the run and was able to complete the pass, but they'll back it up, and we'll do it again.
So they will mark the ball at should be at the 7-yard line from our angle, hard to tell, but 8:53 left here, second quarter. WPA looking for the 2-point conversion after the 18-yard punt return by the Wildcats. Hurd in the shotgun, bind him to his right. 3-step drop, Hurd under pressure, running around now near the 30-yard line. He's got room to run. He'll head towards the sideline, and he'll be cut down on the ground by Kev Fortson, and the 2-point conversion will be no good. Cleveland will maintain the lead 7-6, 8:53 left here, second quarter. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. You're listening to Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One network.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
8:53 left here, second quarter. Cleveland keeps their 7-6 lead over the WPA Wildcats. Wildcats, after the penalty, cannot convert on the two-point conversion, and big football weekend here coming up here near the Canton area.
Yeah, absolutely. Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Enshrinement today pushed back because of the weather. They had some bad weather go through Canton, but one of our own going into the Hall of Fame, linebacker Randy Gradishar, who played at Champion High School, then went on to play for the Buckeyes and 10 years for the Denver Broncos. Past due for Randy to get into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him and the family as he was enshrined this afternoon.
Football continues to reign supreme in the Mahoning Valley, as Sean Dixon Roberts will kick this one off for WPA. Knight and Calhoun back to return. Emma Calhoun will get this one right into the gut at the 15-20. Bring it to the 25. Follow off a block. He'll get out near the 40-yard line. And that's where Cleveland will start out first and 10. And better field position, we're finding out. When Cleveland's down in distance is behind the sticks, they're having a tough time.
Absolutely. This is a good field position to start the drive. I saw an interview with Randy yesterday. Someone asked him about high school, and he said, well, I played at Champion. I don't think we had a winning season my 4 years that I was there. And I thought it's kind of stayed the same since he played.
But certainly produced some great football players. We've seen Champion a couple of times there. Some of the times playing at Mullenkoff Stadium. They've played there, I believe. High school season coming up here just in a few weeks, though.
I know. 2 weeks away.
You can kind of feel the excitement here. It'll still be warm when they start, and we'll probably be looking at snow when it ends.
Scrimmages starting up Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend, and we start on the 22nd of August.
And I believe, does PA start on the same week? But they call it week 0.
Right, but this year, this year they do. Normally they start the week after Ohio, but we are starting a week later, so right on schedule with those guys across the state line.
So we'll run nose and nose with the PA side here. We'll talk about that here in moments. Thompson now will be in the shotgun. Calhoun to his right. Thompson almost waving highs. Tyree Knight will go in motion. He'll plant it, fire over the middle. One-handed catch by Matt Wise. He's going to drop it, but I'm not sure that Wise wasn't down or the pass wasn't incomplete. And the umpire is now at the 49-yard line.
He's spotting him there.
And Cleveland, they're going to say it was a catch by Matt Wise. He went down, then the ball came loose, I believe. So 1st and 10 for Cleveland if this stands, as the officials will talk. And Matt Wise dodging that one. That ball did come loose. Maybe he was down, but.
And that's why we said this is a good college crew, that we got one to go in our favor.
And certainly, and they're making the calls quickly. You can see them communicating. They're not taking a lot of time, and that really doesn't give either team that opportunity to kind of get upset and let things stew.
We saw Thompson kind of go Bernie Kosar there with that sidearm sling into Wise for the completion and the first down.
Of course, Bernie Kosar, one of our own from Boardman High School. Wonder if one day we will see his enshrinement. As we'll go 2 by 2. Thompson in the shotgun, Washington to his right. They'll send Knight in motion again. Ball loose on the ground, covered up by WPA. And I'm not sure what happened on that one. Another miscommunication as Carmen Lerner is going to cover that up for the Wildcats. And I don't know if Knight was supposed to take that off on the jet motion.
Yeah, hard to tell. Knight came by. Thompson still had the football. The defender just kind of banged into him, and they were able to recover the football, and momentum shifting towards the Wildcats here in this second quarter.
So first turnover of the day goes to WPA. They cover that up. Not much challenge on that one. As the Cobra defense will make their way back to the field. WPA have the ball 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 46-yard line. 7:31 left here, second quarter. Cobras with a 7-6 lead over the Wildcats. WPA converting on their 2-point conversion, but after a penalty. could not get back into the end zone. Raphael Hurd now at quarterback. Paul Jones went down on their last series. Hope there's no injury to him. Maybe a little banged up. So send a man in motion left to right. Hurd with the handoff. They'll carry it all the way to the 41-yard line. Pick up a 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 now for WPA. Tyree Bush on the carry.
They really like to rely on that ground game. They rotate 2 and 3 running backs through. They don't have the biggest offensive line in the league, but this is a quick, athletic offensive line.
Yeah, you look at some of the smaller linemen here, and I'm not one to talk about small linemen, but you look at 58 Drew Hallgren, again, wouldn't remind you of an NFL tackle, but nonetheless, good technique. As they'll send Carswell to the far side now. He'll be the twin receivers, 2 running backs in the backfield. Carswell from right to left now. They'll hand it off to Bynum. Bynum upfield to the 40. He'll break through past the 35 and down to the 34-yard line. That's enough for a WPA first down.
Yeah, we've seen the game, change at all levels where, and I'm trying to remember the name, the big nose that played for the Patriots for a long time.
Vince Wilfork.
I mean, you're talking like maybe 6 foot, maybe 350, 360. They've kind of gone away from that. Even with the nose, it's about athleticism and speed now, even for the guys up front.
Yeah, certainly. You want to take those blocks up. You want to have your linebackers run free, but Andy Code now in at the nose. He'll spell Stallworth. I believe that's going to be Quentin Wells and Kevin Green at the ends for the Cobras. So Hurd in the shotgun. Hurd back to pass, looking out to his left, fires down the sideline. He's got a receiver open, going to caught out of bounds. Kev Fortson on the coverage, incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats.
Fortson again doing a great job using that sidelines as the extra defender, forcing him to work the sidelines, and just too much air on that football as it kind of just wobbled downfield.
Yeah, Fortson using the sidelines, that extra defender. Great effort, though, by the WPA receiver going up to get it, but ran out of real estate. 5:48 left here, second quarter. Cleveland with a 7-6 lead over the Wildcats. Wildcats scoring on an 18-yard punt return. As Kevin Green will head out. Mike Marshall in for the Cobras on the far end. Speed rusher. Hand it to Bynum. Bynum upfield. After some contact, he'll make it down to the 30-yard line. They'll actually give him the 29. And they'll bring up 3rd and 5 for WPA.
Just such a difficult back to wrap up and bring down. I've been trying to think of, who's that name that he reminds me of? Frank Gore.
Indeed, absolutely. Even build and the way he runs.
And the number's pretty close, too.
Sure is. Absolutely. So 3rd and 5.
I think we're so old that Frank Gore's son is now in the league.
Yes, he is. And that will really date you there. As you, Dave, and I are all in the same bracket. As Charles Green will be the receiver to the far side. He'll have a wing to the right. Single receiver to the near side. It'll be Fortson. As the ball snapped past Hurd. Hurd chasing it down. And he's going to be brought down as he tries to throw the ball. It's loose. Picked up. And it's going to be a flag on the play. It looks like it's going to be intentional grounding. Terry Hosey picked the ball up. But they're going to say the play is dead. And after a bad snap, this might be a huge break for the Cobras.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a 3rd and 5, and the flag all the way back on the other side of the field at the 35-yard line.
This would be a loss of down. Intentional grounding up against WPA. So the bad news is you're going to get the ball back near the your own 35-yard line. The good news is you keep the ball.
Yeah, this is going to put them way behind the sticks as they needed to get to the 25-yard line to get a first down. I would say at 4th and Belmont Avenue, but we're too far from home.
Well, Jesse Caldwell will say, 4th down on a cup of coffee, as they will definitely bring on the punt team. Charles Green out to do the duties. Tyree Knight will post up around his own 35-yard line. 4:46 left here, second quarter. WPA would have to get to the 24-yard line to get the first down.
Couple of snaps have been low, and they have punted. A couple even skipped back on the turf, so this is where you might elect to send some pressure.
Good snap here as they'll get this one off. It's going to be a low kick. Fielded at the 42-yard line. Picked up by Gaddy. Gaddy upfield. He's going to leap one player and get hit at the 40-yard line. There's going to be a flag. Gaddy with the return, but holy Toledo. That was a big hit by Saquon Thomas.
And that's going to be targeting. I definitely believe that's what they're going to get. He led with the crown of his helmet.
So do they get the great return? Plus 15 is the question. And Saquon not sure that was a penalty, but it was a great hit. Make no mistake. So Tyree Knight, they're trying to get him back to the sideline. Matt Wise with a smile says, nope, we're good.
And they're going to pick this up.
All right, so nonetheless, Adam Rogerson over there trying to argue for the call. However, either way you slice it, Cleveland going to end up with great field position.
And when they talk about targeting, it's did you leave with the crown of your helmet? Did you leave your feet? I think there's 3 criteria. It's pretty close to having 2 of the 3 right there.
I don't know if Saquon Thomas was leaving his feet. Big guy there, offensive lineman, and they used to teach you to stick your head in there, and he certainly did that.
As long as you get off the ground, isn't that leaving your feet?
I'm not sure. We'd have to see the replay on that one.
I can't leave the ground. I'm permanently affixed to the earth, so I have no experience with that.
So Cleveland will start off in WPA territory, 1st and 10 at the Wildcat 40. 4:36 left here, second quarter. Cobras with a 7-6 lead. Thompson in the shotgun. Washington is right. Hand off to Washington. He'll cut it out to the far side. Make one cut. Get to the outside. Pass the 35. And brought down near the 34-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 4 now for Cleveland.
And that's a great read by Washington. He cut it just inside the hash. Oh, nope, nothing there. Bounced it to the outside. Picked up about 4 or 5 more yards after he read that lane was taken away.
Yeah, great patience by Javon Washington. And that's what we've seen from him. Again, different from Emmett Calhoun, who hits the hole at 100 miles an hour. And either way, you'll take that. It's been running back by committee since T.J. Johnson went down early in the year. And everybody's done a pretty good job here as the clock continues to run. 3:54 here, second quarter. Tyree Knight again one-on-one to the bottom. 3 receivers to the top. Washington to the left of Thompson. Slap Thompson taking his time. On the option to the far side now. Thompson going to pitch it out, and it looks like it's going to go out of bounds, but covered up by WPA. They say, hey, they have the ball.
And they do. They've given them the football.
And it did not make it out of bounds, and a fumble gives WPA the ball. So Cleveland, after the great punt return, can't do much with it. Second turnover of the day for the Cobras.
And that's just one of those situations where, no, there wasn't anything there. Thompson needed to just keep that football, go out of bounds, and he went to go pitch it to the trailer, and he got bumped when he made the pitch, and the exchange was not clean, and it results in a turnover.
Unfortunately, again, narrowed down that side of the field here with the pitch man. So Washington and Thompson too close together for that kind of play. And it'll be 1st and 10 for WPA at their own 35-yard line. 3:36 left here in this half. Cleveland with a 7-6 lead. And if you are the coaching staff for Cleveland, you got to be much happier with this performance here in the first half.
Absolutely, and you got to think about it from this perspective. With 3:36 to play in the first half, they gave up 28 points last week. The defense, they've given up no points so far today.
Barrico and Andy Code will switch spots. Code now will go to the right end. Raphael Hurd in at the quarterback. He'll hand it off. Contact in the backfield, but going to break free and make it out near midfield. Spin and into Cleveland territory. And it'll be almost brought down to the 35. He'll make his way inside the 30 and down to the 27-yard line. They'll give him the 28. Chanello Apronozzi with a spinning and bumping run. More of a, reminds you of a pinball machine. And a big run by WPA. They capitalize after the turnover.
It was almost like one of those old school runs where you could hear the NFL Films music in your head as he was bouncing off of tacklers.
Charles Green now the receiver to the far side. He'll be joined by Carswell. I'm going to get it out. Single receiver to the near side. Be one-on-one with Kev Fortson. Hurd still in the quarterback position. Handoff again. And they'll make their way down to the 25-yard line. Pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Now the hard running of John Bynum for WPA.
Yeah, they definitely have some depth at that position. and have showed it off here this afternoon when they run the football. And the majority of their runs is going to be right between the tackles.
You talk about playoff season, and it's been a back-and-forth affair here, hard-hitting. As WPA now will have 2nd and 6 at the Cleveland 25-yard line. Hurd back in a shotgun, one running back to each side. One receiver to the far side, twin receivers to the near side. And it looks like WPA is going to take a timeout with 1:56 left here, second quarter. Cleveland with a 7-6 lead. We're going to step aside for a quick timeout. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One Network.
Professional, fast, highly knowledgeable, easy to work with. These are real reviews by customers of Sandrock Concrete. For all your concrete block, brick, stone, stonework, and excavating needs, call Jerry Sandrock. For your free estimate at 330-506-0013. Sandrock Concrete is fully insured and ready to make your ideas a reality. Sandrock Concrete is a proud supporter and sponsor of Mahoning Valley High School football on Western Reserve Radio.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Tyree Knight, number 2 of the Cleveland Cobras, and you're listening to the Tri-Point Football League on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One Network. Go Cobras.
1:56 left here in this half. WPA with the ball, 2nd and 6 at the Cleveland 25-yard line here, and turnovers costing the Cobras. 2 fumbles here today for the visiting team. Carswell will make his way back onto the field for WPA. So Stallworth, Code, and Kevin Green will be the front 3 for Cleveland. Dontrell Nalling at the middle linebacker for Cleveland. Pressure being shown by the Cobras. Hands up, and ball's loose on the turf. And Kevin Green has a shot. Andy Code's going to end up with it, and the Cobras get a turnover. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. Pressure being shown by Cleveland, something they couldn't get last week.
And you know what? You can see that it's a different quarterback there because the communication between the center and the quarterback, they just haven't been in that rhythm you would expect now 9 games into the season.
Yeah, looking at Paul Jones on the sideline, and he's walking gingerly. So we'll see if he can shake that one off a little bit. See if we'll see him the rest of the game. But Raphael Hurd, make no mistake, an outstanding athlete. He can do some damage, and if you're the linebackers or the outside or in charge of keeping contained for the Cobras, you got to be careful.
Yeah, he is up walking across the sidelines, but there is definitely a clear limp on that left ankle as he tries to kind of loosen things up to get back out onto the field.
So 1st and 10 for the Cobras. They actually marked the ball at the Cleveland 43-yard line. Matt Wise, single receiver to the near side. He'll be one-on-one with Nelson Caldwell. 3 receivers to the top. Thompson in the shotgun, Washington to his right. Thompson, 3-step drop, looking downfield, steps up in the pocket, has room to run, and he's going to take this one to the sideline where he's brought down. Teddy Blakeman on the defense. They'll pick up a couple yards on the play. 2nd down now for Cleveland.
Yeah, like the decision-making, saw that there was nothing available for him downfield, got what he could, got out of bounds, which prevented him from taking a big hit and stopped the clock.
Well, if you're the Cobras defense, you got to say, you know what? We got the ball back for you. You got to do something with it. So they're actually going to say he got 3 yards on the play. So 2nd and 7 for the Cobras. They'll mark the ball at the Cleveland 46-yard line. As Mark looking outside and making me a little nervous there. You talked about some lightning earlier.
No, I heard the sounds that I'm used to being at home, like there was a plane flying overhead. I'm in that flight path from the Air Force Base in Vienna.
So 3 receivers to the top now. Matt Wise will be one-on-one with Nelson Caldwell at the bottom. Thompson in the shotgun. Washington remains the running back. 1 high receiver for WPA. As the Wildcats will back out a little bit. Thompson taking his time. 3-step drop. Again, fires down the sideline. Looking for Matt Wise. And it's going to be caught at the 20-yard line. Matt Wise with another big catch. Went through the defense of Nelson Caldwell. Great concentration by the young receiver.
And immediately, Caldwell asked for the offensive pass interference call. I think he got a little bit confused when you saw him extend the full arm as the defensive back. I was looking for a flag, but not on the Cobras, but on him for a push-off.
So a big play by Matt Wise. They'll mark the ball at the WPA 19-yard line, 1st and 10 in the red zone. Wise and Caldwell again will be one-on-one at the bottom of the screen, 3 to the top. Thompson in the shotgun. Dave Thompson pointing out the WPA defense, looking for that Mike linebacker. Quick pass out to Tyree Knight. Knight trying to get around the block of Baycoat. He'll pick up a couple yards on the play. Actually make it all the way down to the 15-yard line. Pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 now for the Cobras.
Yeah, good to see him bounce right back up. That was one of those tackles where he got spun down, and you worry about in this very nice turf kind of, jamming your cleats in and then twisting a knee, but he got right back up.
Same formation for Cleveland. Wise at the bottom. He'll give it to Dave Thompson, going to keep it himself, try to get upfield, pick up a couple yards. With 12 seconds left here, as the Cleveland will take a timeout. I remember Cobras have to kick off in the second half, so this is either an opportunity to get a touchdown or at least have Ben Lyons come on and add 3.
Hey, I'll be curious to see. I would wonder, do you take one shot at the end zone and then bring Lyons on, or they're going to bring him on right now and try and get points and expand this lead going into halftime?
Okay, so they'll mark the ball at the 15-yard line. That'll make it a 32-yard field goal, well within the range of Ben Lyons. The officials over here talking on the near hash marks. Officials going right into position now. As some confusion from Cleveland as far as who's supposed to be out there. Tamir Stevens will be the end on the left side, kind of directing everybody. Malik Gaddy on the right. Joe Barrico going to be the holder for Cleveland. 32-yard field goal attempt by Ben Lyons. 10 seconds left here on 3rd down. And we have a stoppage in play, and the WPA take a timeout. Indeed, they're going to try to freeze the kicker. We'll keep it right here with just 10 seconds left. And we've had people try this on Ben Lyons before. Hasn't worked, but can't take the timeouts with you, I suppose.
That old adage, let's ice the kicker and see what you can do. And they've set this up perfectly. This is well within Ben's range. We've seen him hit from 45, miss just short from 53 when they played the Federals. This is a pretty much straight-on kick, so as long as they can execute properly, this is a good opportunity to add to the lead.
Yeah, when you talk about the 50-yard attempt there in Youngstown, that was off a grass surface.
That would be a different way to play football.
That certainly would. I'd love to get the seats underneath and watch that. But that was off of a natural surface and was just a few yards short on that. As Lyons now will set himself up. Barrico will be the holder. 32-yard field goal attempt, 10 seconds left here in the first half. Good snap. Hold is down. Kick is up. And it is no good. Wide right. As Lyons looking downfield. Wasn't sure about that, but nonetheless, with 6 seconds left here in the first half, Cleveland can't make good on the turnover. But they still have a 7-6 lead over the Wildcats. WPA will get the ball in the second half.
So the score will remain Cobras 7, Wildcats 6 with about 6 seconds left in the half.
Still have to kick off here with 6 seconds in the half. Can't fall asleep heading into the locker room. Have to execute and cover this kick. Don't want to give up a big return with only 6 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, we've seen on the punt return what could happen in just a few seconds. As WPA will take over at the Cleveland 20-yard line.
You know what? I should know my football rules a little better than that. Missed field goal, no return.
Correct. Close enough.
Sure it was. This is a different seat. I'm not used to being in this one. How about that?
We'll go with close enough on that. But WPA nonetheless, we'll see if they take a shot downfield. Raphael Hurd still at the quarterback position for WPA. Again, Paul Jones on the sideline after getting his ankle hemmed up We'll see if that's going to keep him out the rest of the game. Hurd with the handoff. He'll go up the middle and he'll be brought down near the 24-yard line. That should end the half. Here in Allison Park, PA, the Cobras will go into the locker room with a 7-6 lead over the WPA Wildcats. We will step aside for a timeout. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network. We're right back after this.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Malutic Live is your home for high school sports. We have all the scores on our social media platforms throughout the games. Enjoy our timely updates from local area schools year-round. You won't get the consistency and reliability from anyone else. Our number one priority is servicing our fans and getting them live news as it's happening. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Malutic_live. And remember, our fans come first.
The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club fitting center, and an Odyssey fitting studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
This is number 79, Josh Jackson, and you're listening to Cleveland Cobras football on iMedia One Network. Let's get it.
Halftime here in the opening round of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs between the WPA Wildcats and the Cleveland Cobras. Cobras with the slimmest of leads, 7-6 here at the break. Cobras got the scoring started off, 2:06 in the opening quarter. It was Thompson to Thompson on a 5-yard touchdown pass in the back of the left end zone. Ben Lyons' extra point made it 7-0. Cobras forced the punt from within their own end zone, and the straight-up kick came down in the arms of Humphrey, who got a couple of blocks, worked the far right sidelines, and was able to get into the end zone for the touchdown. Then they elected to attempt a 2-point conversion that was initially successful, but a penalty wiped off the 2-point try, backed up the Wildcats. They had to try it again. They could not convert the 2-point conversion. 8:53 to play in the half, a 7-6 lead for the Cobras. And then with just 10 seconds remaining in our first half, Ben Lyons just missed a 32-yard field goal off to the right upright and no good. We come to the half, a 7-6 lead for the visiting Cobras.
And we'll start the second half off with WPA getting the ball. And again, last week we ran into the same situation, down 28-0. This time, a little bit different here. They would have had the ball anyway after this field goal. And again, a lot of things going Cleveland's way this week. That film study must have been outstanding this week. Again, almost like an instruction book of what to do and what not to do. They have done it. Now, other than the 2 fumbles, this has been an impressive performance here by the Cobras, a big turnaround in just 1 week.
Especially up front. And we saw them give up 2 sacks, but that was, deep into their own territory. It seemed like a lot of, zero blitz or all blitz on those couple of plays. But you can't ask for more. You got shut out last week. You made some fantastic adjustments by the coaching staff. You even said, it kind of really started to change in the second half. Yes, they had running clock, but they were to keep the Wildcats off the board.
Yeah, and certainly the secondary was playing outstanding for Cleveland. Cam McCauley, again, we talked about him last week, and he took away half of the field from WPA, which kind of limited him down to handing the ball off to Bynum and to trying the other side of the field. But, again, they put a lot of things together this week, and that pressure up front this Saturday as opposed to last Saturday has been much better Now, that's also taken into consideration that Paul Jones is on the sideline, and Raphael Hurd has stepped in at quarterback, but Hurd, an outstanding athlete, that's not something they can drop their guard on, because I'll tell you, it's kind of a Wildcat offense, and you don't want to let him run wild.
Yeah, they've had a little, you could tell the rhythm and the comfortableness with the center and him just haven't been there. There's been a little bit of confusion. We saw the bad snap that kind of just whizzed by him for about a 35-yard loss. So that rhythm isn't there, but if he has his hands on the football, he can make things happen.
And that's what you fear. And, again, the outside contained guys, those are the ones they're going to be the most important there, because he likes to get to the outside. He's very fast, and if you get him into the open field, he's going to be dangerous. So that's something they're going to have to keep cognizant of. But that pressure from that three-man front, including Stallworth, Andy Code, Kevin Green and company, Cam Wells, done a much better job this week. Of course, Andy Code missing last week. He's been a big part of it. Joe Barrico contributing as well. And as far as the Cleveland offense, if you sit there and look at it, the way they're spreading the ball around is very impressive. It really doesn't give the Wildcats a place to focus.
It doesn't, because he's completed passes Thompson has to multiple receivers in the first half, and it's been one of those where his receivers are stepping up and they're making plays for him on the football.
Yeah, specifically Matt Wise. I mean, a couple of catches he has made. We talked about the one in the second half last week. I thought he needed a pilot's license to go up to get that one. He brought it down, and the collective ooh and ah from the crowd told you that might have been the catch of the year, but he's done a great job this week getting downfield. And other than that almost fumble, we talk about ball security. That's so important. He has had an outstanding game, and the secondary for the Cobras as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to love the way the defense is playing. You can think about it from this perspective. The defense still pitching a shutout.
Yeah, indeed. They gave up on the 18-yard return on the punt return, and that was because the punt was a line drive, which I don't want to say that you or I could have returned that for a touchdown, but the opportunity was definitely there.
Let's be clear, I could not
have. Maybe with a block from Dave, maybe I could have gotten there, but that and an Uber, then I think we would have been okay. But, again, defensively, just a complete turnaround this week, and a great job not only by the players but by the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's a complete effort, and you see that the coaches saw adjustments that needed to be made. They made them, and it becomes executing it on the field, and the team has done that as well.
Yeah, and you wonder how WPA is going to adjust here in the second half. You've lost your quarterback, an outstanding leader on the offense in Paul Jones. I'm not convinced that we have seen the last of him today. He might need a little time to let that settle down, maybe get some ice on it, and I think there's a potential. If you need a deep ball, if you need some last-minute throws downfield, I'm thinking you might still see him in the second half.
It's all going to depend on what the score is, and this has been a nip-and-tuck game throughout the entire first half.
Yeah, you can see Ben Lyons out there. He's warming up from 30 yards there, making that a 47-yard field goal. So, again, his issue the last time was accuracy and not distance, but nice to have him this week. He may be the key to this Cobras team going on to week 2. Again, one of those positions that are hard to fill here in the Tri-Point Football League, or pretty much anywhere across this level of play.
And across any level, we've seen high school kickers be an absolute difference maker when it comes to the postseason.
Yeah, certainly, and I think a lot of kickers now are just so used to kicking off the turf, too. They're making longer field goals. They're becoming more accurate. But with Ben Lyons, again, we talked about him kicking off a grass surface, and he's dependable then. So if they win this week, and not to look forward to it, but according to the bracket, Cleveland could be headed to Columbus to take on the Fire. Cobras having a tough time with them in Brooklyn just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that is an impressive football team, especially what they do up front on both lines.
Yeah, make no mistake, the Columbus Fire have a little bit of size up front there. I mean, you could hide behind that offensive line for the Fire.
You could put Scarlet and Gray on them, and they would fit right in with the Buckeyes O-line.
Yeah, they could go from one Columbus spot to another easily. Again, the running game of the Fire against the Cobras was absolutely impressive. But, again, we're talking about a second matchup for the Cobras. If they can make the adjustments as well as they have here in the first half, if they can get into week 2, then I think it's going to be a different ball game so far. And I think you're seeing a lot here in terms of coaching and players actually studying that film and trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube of playoffs here. The Cobras really trying to get over that hump past week 1 in the Tri-Point Football League playoffs.
Right. You mentioned the Fire and the Arctic Bobcats playing today, and the Fire perfect on the season in league play. So that would definitely be a challenging matchup for the Arctic Bobcats, which is just one of my favorite names of sports all time.
Well, and, some of these games, I think a lot of these games are starting off late here. We're going to try to get you some scores from around the area. Again, the latest game starting off at 7:30 down in Tuscarawas County, way down south there. That game can be heard on City View Sportscast. Matt Lipsack, Matt Emsch making the trip for the Tuscarawas County Warriors and the Mahoning Valley Federals. And we saw the Federals there, kind of a feisty team there. They gave the Cobras everything they could handle in the 20-14 win for the Cobras. But not a lot of size there, but you give them an A for heart.
And you know what? I've seen that team several times throughout the year, and you definitely see improvement. They made a change at quarterback early on in the year. They made some adjustments. If you're a high school football fan from the Valley, they've got a lot of familiar names like Walt Ali, who was an outstanding player for the LeBray Vikings. So they're a young team, and that's their winningest season in franchise history now.
And you can see Dominic Harris and crew are building things over there for the Mahoning Valley Federals, and that's good for the Youngstown area. Of course, I'm going to biasly say the last franchise team that really brought something to the Valley was the Western Reserve Scourge.
Never heard of them.
May or may not have heard of that. We may have mentioned them once or twice, but under the tutelage of a guy named Bob Gessler.
I'm sorry, Dave and I aren't familiar with that team. Did they win a championship?
It was a thing. It was back in 15. I tell you right now,
I do not recall.
You had to be there to see it. It was. Oh, that joke's only been going 9 years, folks. I'm sorry.
It's never going away.
We get ready for second half kickoff here, Ben Lyons, to get this one started in the third quarter for the Cobras. And Ben comes up short just to the far right on a 32-yard field goal. Trying to check scores now. The Erie Express and the Ohio Gladiators just about to get underway in Erie, Pennsylvania. That kickoff, I believe, scheduled for 6:30. You can catch that game, and I wouldn't recommend leaving this one, by the way. Don't leave this one. It's a 7-6 lead for Cleveland.
Have two devices.
Absolutely. Go and find your best girl's phone and tell her not to go anywhere. But go to the Erie Express Football Facebook page. You'll see an outstanding production there to watch that game.
77 as we begin, 77 degrees as we begin the second half. And I will officially say clear of rain for the rest of the game.
And which is kind of odd because we see some dark clouds here. So that'll be good here. Again, a little bit of humidity here. Not really much to speak of.
I don't play one on the radio either. I can look at an app just like everyone else.
As we get ready here to kick off the third quarter, Cleveland with a 7-6 lead over the WPA Wildcats. At this point last week, it was a 28-0 lead for the Keystone State team. Cleveland trying to pick up the win for Ohio. Ben Lyons on the approach. And this one going to land at the 18-yard line. It's going to be fielded past the 20-25 and brought down by Tamir Stevens at the 27-yard line. That's where WPA will start off 1st and 10 to get the third quarter started.
It does make you wonder, if you're the Wildcats, do you start to kind of question, this was a team exactly 1 week ago you had a 28-0 lead on at the half. It seems like your opponent has made a lot of adjustments. We'll see what kind of adjustments they make here to begin the second half.
Yeah, and the one thing for Cleveland is the places where they're improving this week are the positions where they lacked depth last week. You talked about the defensive line. They're missing guys like Andy Code, who was back this week, had some kind of medical emergency, but he is back this week, looks healthy, has done a great job here. And then for the offensive line, for Cleveland, they have done a much better job picking up those blitzes on the passes. As it looks like it'll be Hurd to remain at quarterback. Twin receivers to the far side. Coswell will be the slot. Hurd in the shotgun, one running back to each side. Handoff to the right side. And it'll be WPA driving past the 30-yard line down near the 32. It'll be a pickup of just about 4 on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 6 now for WPA.
That's 34. Operanozier with a tough.
Operanozier, as our PA announcer says. I didn't put the A at the end. Didn't give it that little bit of spice.
But the A is actually an E.
Well, it's a property. I guess you can make it whatever you want. We're from Ohio. It's Operanozie.
I'm looking down on the sidelines. I do not see Paul. Oh, there he is. Just back out onto the field, still limping pretty good.
Handoff this time to Bynum. Bynum upfield, fighting his way past the 35 and down to the 37-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down. I think they're going to give it to him. It's pretty close, and indeed, indeed, the chain crew will move. It'll be a fresh set of downs here for the Wildcats.
Now, early indication here looks like they are going to be content to try and play some power football to begin this third quarter and, decrease the chance of exchange issues.
Yeah, just like last week, almost like a continuous running clock. It looks like they want to keep this game close. As Raphael Hurd now leading the WPA offense. Damian Cornish, the receiver to the near side now. Hurd in a shotgun. They'll send Coswell in motion from left to right. Handoff again to Tyree Bush. He'll work his way up near the 40 and down to the 41-yard line. Second down now for WPA. Pickup of about 4 on the play. 2nd and 6 now for the Wildcats.
It's not the warmest evening, but it's definitely been muggy, and they have done a nice job rotating some running backs in and out, and they're going to have one of their offensive linemen coming off a little banged up as well.
Yeah, you just mentioned that. Lawrence Page making his way onto the field. Running back, actually listed as a linebacker, but sometimes those linebackers make the best fullbacks. They like to hit people. So 12:46 left here, third quarter. WPA with the ball, 1st and 10. At their own 37-yard line. We'll get the whistle for play. Clock will begin to run. Cobras with a 7-6 lead over the home team. So Bynum and Bush will be the backs in the backfield. Coswell in motion from left to right. Single receiver to the bottom of the screen. Hand off to Bush. Bush making contact with Kevin Green. He'll pick up a couple yards on the play. He'll get down to the 44-yard line and bring up 3rd down now for the Wildcats.
Cobras again trying to anticipate that snap count and do the best they can to get that just a little bit of extra edge to get some pressure upfield.
Yeah, and you talk about anticipating that snap. With Paul Jones in there, it was almost like you've been through it, you've done it, but now he's on the sideline with Raphael Hurd. Do you still have that same advantage? You want to be careful you don't get too over-aggressive. Well, that'll be Green to the high side now. Hand off to Bynum. Bynum out to the near side. He'll get out near the WPA sideline. Brought down from behind by Kevin Green at the Cleveland 49-yard line. That's going to be enough for a WPA first down.
Running all of their running backs in. Tyree Bush saying, give me the football, feed me on this drive. Kind of reminds you of what Zeke Elliott used to do with the Buckeyes and the Cowboys.
That's certainly another great comparison there, even in terms of build. Try to get you some updates from around the league as the Erie Express seems to be having a little bit of technical difficulty over there in Erie. Not sure how the weather is over there. Seem to be back online now. Hurd. Ball on turf. He's going to be knocked down in the backfield. And it's going to be 2nd and 14 now. Make it 2nd and 15 for WPA. Again, a problem on the center quarterback exchange.
They just haven't been smooth. You can't say, they've been low, they've been high. They've been a mixture of a little bit of everything so far.
Yeah, it's funny how that changes there. Just that comfort you have with the quarterback center. I speak from experience from time to time. Even just the cadence itself make you flinch a little bit there, maybe change the trajectory of the ball, as they'll have 2 receivers to the far side. Now Caldwell will line up close to the offense. Hurd hitting the backfield. He's going to break away, get past the 50 and down to the Cleveland 49-yard line. So they'll get near the original line of scrimmage here with 10:04 left here, third quarter. Cleveland with a 7-6 lead.
Now you mentioned that Erie Express game. They are playing at one of the nicer fields. I had a chance to call several high school games there back in my Western Pennsylvania days. They are at Veterans Field in Erie, and that is a stadium where several of the Erie area high schools play their home games.
Had the opportunity once to be up there. Beautiful area. Had a great time up there. They took on the Columbus Fire, which ended up being a great game. That would be the year that Erie would go on to win the GDFL championship. Of course, we remember that game at Mercyhurst University. Great facility there. Twin receivers to the far side again, 3rd and 10. Hurd in the shotgun. Hurd now rolling out to the far side, looking for room to run. He's going to get the ball loose. He's going to throw it down to the 36-yard line. Caught. And WPA will overcome that early loss of yardage to get the first down. It'll be in Cleveland territory. 1st and 10 at the 36. Hard to tell who caught that one. It was over on the far sideline. And I thought for sure Hurd was going to run that one. And that's the problem he brings, Mark, is sometimes on the roll out there, if he runs, he's got a lot of room. But he can also throw the ball.
He can. It's not the smoothest of deliveries, but he gets the ball where it needs to be.
So 8:52 left here as the clock continues to run. Coswell now will be on the left side of the WPA formation. Hurd with the handoff to Bush. Bush hemmed up in the backfield. And that's going to be Quentin Wells making the contact in the backfield. Again, Cleveland showing some pressure. It's something they were lacking last week, and we have a flag on the play. And I missed the call on it, so somebody help me out here.
I think somebody defensively came across the line.
Okay, so they're going to say encroachment. Dave, you can say it. We all know. It's disappointing. It hurts.
I don't think he has a microphone today.
Dave can tell me. So that great play will be wiped out, and WPA will pick up 5. This time last week, Dave and I were thinking about what we were going to eat after the game. This week, might be thinking about, I don't want to get ahead. Never mind.
You can think about what we're going to eat. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
That's
here,
always important.
So Charles Green will be the receiver to the far side now. Twin receivers to the near side. Hurd rolling out to the WPA sideline, looking downfield. Tosses it up, and it's going to be incomplete. Contact down there, and we're going to have a flag on the play. Kev Fortson probably going to get the call for pass interference. And I don't know about that one, but Fortson trying to state his case. There was some contact there, I think, both ways, but nonetheless, they'll have Fortson on the pass interference. That'll give WPA a first down.
Yeah, typically in a case like that where you see contact both sides, you just keep that flag in the pocket and let them play for another down.
Yeah, certainly if you're going to question it or if it's a questionable type thing, I would rather them let that one go. But it will be 1st and 10 for WPA at the Cleveland 15-yard line. 8:05 left here, third quarter. WPA trails by a score of 7-6. Hurd in the shotgun. Obernosy to his right. Tyree Bush to his left. Twin receivers to the near side. Moving right to left now if you're listening on Live 365 or tune in. Ball on the ground again. Hurd, though, making it out near the WPA sideline, inside the 10, inside the 5, and down to the 3-yard line. Brought down by Terry Hosey. And Hurd makes good on what should have been a loss of yardage.
Able to just pick the football up, show off his speed, and then a combination of the fact that he got a couple of blockers out in front.
7:42 left here, third quarter. WPA knocking at the door. Be 1st and goal at the Cleveland 4-yard line. Raphael Hurd in at quarterback for the Wildcats in place of Paul Jones. Dark overcast skies here, but seems like we're going to be okay from what I understand from our weather report. Cornish, the receiver to the near side now. Green to the far side. Coswell will be the wing to the left. Hurd in the shotgun, Bynum to his left. And going to have some movement up front. Ball loose. And Quentin Wells going to pick it up, and he's going to be knocked down at the 27-yard line, but I believe they're going to have Cleveland on the encroachment. That'll be half the distance for WPA. You mentioned several times about anticipating that snap, and indeed, encroachment will be the call against Cleveland.
And trying to anticipate the snap like they additionally did when Paul Jones Jr. was in the game, and every quarterback's cadence is just a little bit different.
Bring up a short 1st and goal for the Wildcats now.
So we'll see where they mark the ball. Actually, it looks like the 2-yard line. So that would be half the distance, if my math serves me correct.
I try not to do math.
Green and Bush. And for the WPA Wildcats now, 6:35 left here.
Hurd is now also on the sidelines next to Jones.
All right, so we'll see who we have at quarterback. And it'll be Charles Green, 3rd quarterback of the day. He'll bind him to his left. And Opernozzi to his right. Now hand it off to Bynum. Bynum into the end zone for the WPA touchdown. 6:15 left here, 3rd quarter. WPA takes their first lead of the day, 13-6, pending the conversion. And we'll see if they go for 2. We haven't seen them kick an extra point to date. WPA on their first possession of the 3rd quarter goes downfield and takes the 12-7 lead. And Hurd coming back to the sideline, not happy about something. I don't think he wanted to be taken out.
Yeah, that is a definite weapon on the sidelines, whether he lines up at quarterback or we've seen him at wide receiver or returning kicks.
So odd enough as Green now rolling out to the far side. Under pressure, all kinds of white jerseys, looking for the corner of the end zone. Gets into their end zone for the score. And he adds 2. It'll make it 14-7 in favor of the WPA Wildcats. And all of a sudden, Cleveland trails by a touchdown. 6:15 left here in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it looked like they set up a throwback as he rolled far to the right. He looked back to the left, but nothing was available, so he just took off and was able to get into the end zone.
You know, you talk about the absence of Paul Jones, but now the athletes back there that can make plays with their legs are definitely doing that. So try to keep the equipment here all running.
And your weatherman was wrong. It is raining.
All right, so a light rain here in Allison Park, PA. Hopefully it will remain a light rain and nothing of consequence. But also now does the ball become a little bit more slippery here depending on how bad the rain's going to be. We'll see how the officials do. And I see our umpire was equipped with a towel, so they'll do the best they can to keep the ball as dry as possible.
He's a veteran. He's been through this before.
I would agree just by visual inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, a NCAA officiating crew today here in Week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. Johnny Ray always doing a good job arranging everything. Rank him right up there with Paul Pennington.
And there's so much very good small college football played in this area, whether it's, the PSAC or the PAC at the Division III level. A lot of great officials.
Not the PAC, the PAC.
Yes, never the PAC.
Green with the kickoff. This one's going to be a good one to Tyree Knight. He'll field it at the 9-yard line, bring it out to the 20. He'll go to the far sideline, to the 30, 35, 40. He'll make it past midfield. One man to beat. He's going to be knocked out of bounds in Wildcat territory near the 39-yard line. No flags on the play. And a late flag. We'll see if this is going to be a late hit. But a great return by Tyree Knight. Again, we talked about getting him in the open field as we try to find our referee, see if we can get an initial signal. He's waiting for the call from the side, and as the umpire and head linesman talk it over. And Cleveland walking back, so holding coming up against the Cobras.
That was a very, very late flag. I think that flag was thrown after Knight was out of bounds.
Gonna have to agree with you on that there. I mean, because that was way downfield. They'll mark the ball at the Cleveland 45-yard line. A great return nonetheless, but at that point, if he's going to go out of bounds and you're going to throw it from that position, again, hard to say. Been there in that position as well, so Three receivers to the far side now for Cleveland. 1st and 10 at the Cobra 45-yard line. It'll be Matt Wise one-on-one with Caldwell. Thompson in the shotgun, Washington to his right. Now hand it off to Washington off the left side. Try to break one tackle, make it past the 45, down to 46. Ball comes loose. And indeed, another fumble by the Cobras, and it will be WPA's ball with 5:49 left here, third quarter, and the turnover bug biting the Cobras.
Looks like Washington's still down on the turf at the 45 as well.
So Cobra player down here, 5:45 left here, third quarter. WPA with a 14-7 lead over the Cobras. We'll step aside for a quick 30-second timeout, give them an opportunity to check on him. When we come back, WPA will have the ball. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One network.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
.545 left here, third quarter. Wildcats with a 14-7 lead over the Cobras. Wildcats get into the end zone on a 2-yard run on their first possession of the second half. Bynum puts the Wildcats up 12-7. They get the 2-point conversion. And now Cleveland with a turnover on a Washington fumble. Gives the Wildcats the ball, 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 45-yard line. Hurd now back at quarterback with twin receivers to the near side. Terry Hosey now, a right linebacker. Handoff to Tyree Bush. And Andy Code going to make the initial contact, pick up a couple yards. And it'll be 2nd and 8 now for the Wildcats.
And they have pretty much been content to keep the ball on the ground. They've taken a few shots, but that adjustment with the backup quarterback in has just been to try and use the offensive line and their depth at running back.
Well, you mentioned earlier in the game, if you don't have the ball, you can't score. And WPA content right now to just let this run. 5:13 left here, third quarter. WPA's had the ball most of the third quarter here after getting it after the half. Jameer Stevens now in to cover the slot on the near side here for Cleveland. Erie and the Ohio Gladiators underway up there in Cleveland, trying to get you a score. Hand off to Bynum. Bynum cutting back upfield past the 40, down to the 38-yard line. 2nd and 3 now for WPA. Bynum just doesn't go down easy.
He does not. It took a couple of white and green jerseys to pull him down, and until that whistle blows, he's giving you full effort.
Yeah, they always teach you to wrap up low, but Bynum not the tallest guy on the field, so it's a little harder to get down and grab those legs. Those legs kind of like tree trunks.
They're looking at 3rd and about 3 yards here.
And try to get you a score from Erie, Pennsylvania, as it looks like the Express will have the ball at the Gladiator 5-yard line. We'll try to keep an eye on both here. 4 minutes left here, third quarter in Allison Park, PA. WPA with a 14-7 lead. And Erie going to lose yardage on the play back to the 10-yard line. We'll try to keep you updated on that. So 3rd and 3 for WPA. Ball marked at the 38-yard line. Hurd in the shotgun. We'll give it to Bush. Oh, actually going to keep it. Hurd under pressure, trying to find some room, get past the 35 and down to the 31-yard line. Plenty for the first down. We talked at halftime about keeping Hurd in the pocket and his ability to pick up yards with his legs, and that's what he's doing here in the second half.
Yeah, all quarterbacks that we have seen for the Wildcats, if they break contained, they have the opportunity to make big plays.
3:09 here left in the third quarter. The rain comes down a little bit harder now. So ball security, I think, would become an issue.
I think my weather forecasting career is over.
Well, you can always do sports. It's easier.
I've heard that. Less science, less math involved.
And I think the WPA side likes this rain. So they start to react a little bit. Clock continues to run here, 2:40 left, third quarter, and Bynum's going to call a timeout for WPA. We'll also step aside for a break. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One network.
The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club fitting center, and an Odyssey fitting studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Tyree Knight, number 2 of the Cleveland Cobras, and you're listening to the Tri-Point Football League on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One Network. Go Cobras.
2:37 left here in Allison Park, PA, and the rain is coming down now. And not just a little. We'll see.
Thank you. I guess I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
Your day's over, Mark. We're going to move on.
All right. More walking tacos for me. Let's go.
So 1st and 10 from the Cleveland 31-yard line. Greenham with the receiver to the far side. Cornish to the near side. Hurd still at the quarterback position in place of Paul Jones. Hurd back to pass down the sideline, tested Cam McCauley, and it's going to be caught out of bounds. Actually going to be dropped. Cam McCauley on the defense, and he has been a thorn in the side of the WPA Wildcats. You can't say enough about the good play of Cam McCauley.
He has been out on an island a lot of this game in single coverage and has done a fantastic job.
We were wondering if that play was going to continue this week after the outstanding performance last week despite the 28-0 loss. And again, the rain continues to come down here as Durante Nalling at the safety position for Cleveland. Try to get rid of some equipment here on the sideline. 2nd and 10 for WPA. Ball still at the Cleveland 31-yard line. Saquon Thomas, the center, coming back for some information. I always double-check the count, so going to probably what he was doing. Hurd with the snap. Motion both ways. We'll see here. Going to call this one against. And this may be the first flag of the day against WPA. I believe that's going to be an offside. Looked like the left guard, went upfield. You usually tell by how the official what direction he throws it in. And false start again against WPA. 2nd and 15 now for the Wildcats. 2:31 left here, third quarter.
You can tell the rain is starting to affect play as just really starting to come down as we hit the 2.5-minute mark of this third quarter.
Well, the good news is it doesn't rain in the press box.
Never. Well, I know one story.
Hand off to Bynum, straight upfield, past the 35, down to the 30. Inside the 30, and they'll mark him at the 28-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 8 for WPA. And they got to find an answer for Bynum. He is picking up yards at will, and especially after contact.
And that's, it's that old school Woody Hayes philosophy. You just ground and pound 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And, man, I've had a lot of Ohio State references today.
That's okay. It's becoming that time of year.
Akron right around the corner.
Yeah, we have to talk about some of that high school action coming up here in just a few weeks. It'll creep up on us, and as our good friend Tim Continenza says, the fastest 10 weeks of the year. In about 10 minutes, we'll be talking about playoffs. Hurd in the shotgun. 3-step drop, looking downfield, under pressure, and he's going to go down to the backfield at the 40-yard line. Loss of 9 on the play. That's going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats with 1:19 left. And now the question is, do you punt? And if you do, can your long snapper get the ball back there in this driving rain?
Yeah, a lot of questions on a critical 4th down play in a one-touchdown game.
So could this be an advantage for Cleveland? I see some of the kids now are running around here with no shirt, no socks, and shoes on, having fun in the rain.
It's good to be young.
Yeah. I think at our ages, we'd all end up with pneumonia. And
I'd slip and fall. Yeah, 5 is back to punt now.
Charles Green will post up right around his own 49-yard line. They're gonna take a shot at this, and I don't know if I am the Cobras, if I'm even worried about a return, as Tyree Knight will post up around his own 9-yard line. Under 30 seconds left here, third quarter. Cleveland looking like they're going to come after this one. Buying him back there to protect Green. And it's going to be a high end-over-end punt. Short. It'll take a WPA roll past the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. That's where Cleveland will take over, 1st and 10 with just 8 seconds left here in this third frame.
Not a thing of beauty for the Wildcats, but effective nonetheless. It got the job done.
WPA suffering a little bit in the back end of that offensive possession. And it all goes back to the center quarterback exchange and some of the confusion back there when you put a new person in there. And again, Paul Jones not seen yet, but was trying to look for him on the sideline. Again, just a gut feeling told me that in a moment of need at the end, if they needed him, he would be there. But maybe that ankle injury a little bit more serious than we thought before. Paul Jones a tough guy there, so if he's not in there, we know something's wrong.
Yeah, that was a big sack that knocked him out of this football game as he had a couple of Cobras on top of him. And it wasn't a bad limp, but it was one that was noticeable.
Yeah, anything on that ankle joint, you know better than anybody, that'll slow you down. So Cleveland now with the ball, 1st and 10. They'll mark it actually at the Cleveland 17-yard line. 8 seconds left here, third quarter. We'll see where the offense goes here with this rain. Ball set in the middle of the field, so it is not protected from anything. D'Angelo Thompson, the receiver to the near side. Keyshawn Baycoat, receiver to the far side. Malik Gaddy will be the fullback to the right of Thompson. He'll have Emmett Calhoun behind him. Thompson in the shotgun. They'll give the ball to Calhoun off the right side, and he'll dive his way down to the 19-yard line. Pick up a 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 now for Cleveland as we come to the end of the third quarter here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Cobras trailing the WPA Wildcats by a score of 14-7 here in week 1 of the playoffs. We'll step aside for a timeout. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One network.
You hear it all the time. Why Youngstown State University? Here's why. Because when it comes to engineering, medicine, sports, business, and the skills you need to take your place in the world, we take a backseat to nobody. Because we're the kind of people who look out for each other. Because we care about you, your success, and our future together. We are Youngstown State University, and now you know why.
This is number 56, Antoine Peterson, known as Tony Sweets. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football on iMedia One Network.
Tony Sweets breaking us back after the end of the third quarter here. We'll flip sides of the field. Fresh 15 up there as we enter the final frame of this Week 1 playoff game between the Cleveland Cobras and the WPA Wildcats. Wildcats with a 14-7 lead. Of course, this game far from over here. A lot of variables here with the rain. And again, with Paul Jones being down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it really does. It changes a lot of things. It makes the ball so much slicker. Chances of turnovers go up. Difficult to throw the football, especially downfield.
So we take a look at the feed from Erie. Nothing but sun up there in Erie, Pennsylvania. Somehow or another, we ended up on the wrong side of this in the Keystone State. Gaddy now still in the backfield as a fullback. Calhoun the tailback. 2nd and 8 for the Cobras. And we're going to have movement up front. And I believe Taylor Johnson is going to be the guilty party. They'll knock it back 5. So 2nd and 13 now for the Cobras. And this is where they struggled in the first half.
Hey, I can't get yourself behind the chains like this where you're searching for bigger plays to pick up first downs. And we saw them struggle like this as well when they were deep in their own territory on the opposite side of the field.
Frustrating for this Cobra staff as Keyshawn Baycoat will be the receiver to the near side. And one receiver to the far side as well. Still 2nd down for Cleveland. We'll see if Thompson will attempt to throw a ball on the ground. And going to be covered up in the backfield. I got to assume that the ball is wet, and that's going to affect the snap. And we wondered how each team would deal with it for Cleveland. Not good so far.
Yeah, struggled with the snap, luckily able to fall on the football. And now this will force Ben Lyons to punt from within his own end zone. Excuse me, third down.
Might still be a good idea to punt now. But again, we talk about the long snappers. You know, that was the Achilles heel for them early in the season. So we'll see if what adjustments he'll make. 3rd and 20 for Cleveland. 3 receivers now to the right of Thompson. Single receiver to the near side. That'll be Tyree Knight. Knight one-on-one with Jock Foster. As the rain lightens up here, but it's a steady rain here just outside of Pittsburgh. Good snap this time for Thompson. Thompson back to pass, rolling out to the far side, and he's going to throw this into the sideline. Nothing open there, so the veteran going to get rid of it. 13:41 left here, 4th quarter. The Cobras are going to have to punt this one away, but they're going to have to do it from their own end zone.
All right, lots of challenges, basically punting from your own end zone. Now you add the weather to it, and it makes it even more challenging. WPA expecting to get a short field to work with.
So while the rain has lightened up, it is still a consistent.
Can we call it a driving rain?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've played in worse. Maybe a medium rain. I don't know.
Just don't say third and medium.
13:41 left here, 4th quarter. Cleveland to punt this one away. Ben Lyons be about, we'll say 6 or 7 yards deep in his own end zone. And the idea here is to get that snap back and let Lyons get a good punt off. WPA returner going to be right around the 40-yard line. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's going to be Charles Green. He'll back up to the 43. Good snap. Lyons to get this one away. And it's going to be a decent punt. Tamir Stevens, the closest one to it. It'll roll to a WPA. It's going to be touched. And loose on the ground. And WPA looks like they covered it up. And they'll get the ball 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. So almost a break for Cleveland.
And that's a mistake even in dry conditions to even try and make a play on that football. I know you're thinking, I'll catch him by surprise. It'll turn it into a big play. Almost cost him right there.
Now the surprise works both ways there sometimes. Little break in play here as we'll have a change of possession. 13-19 left in this game. WPA up by a score of 14-7. Wildcats got the 28-0 win last week over the Cobras. And tried to look back to see when the last time the Cobras were shut out, and it went far enough back that I couldn't find it.
That's pretty far back.
Yeah, so we have been part of the Cobras broadcast since 2016. So Raymond Dean now the receiver to the far side, twin receivers to the near side. Hurd in the shotgun, one running back to each side. 1st and 10 from the 38. They'll hand us off to Bynum. Bynum out to the right side. Excuse me, that's going to be Tyree Bush. And he'll work his way down to the 26-yard line. And that should be enough for a WPA first down.
With a good run for a Wildcat first down.
13 minutes left here in this first half. Cleveland desperate for something to happen here, a turnover or something.
And this becomes a critical opportunity now, down by a touchdown, and WPA has the football at the 26-yard line heading in.
Odd, but it looks like they had ball's on the ground, and was it Andy Coe that fell on it? And they're going to stop the clock. Cleveland with the ball. There's the turnover we talked about.
Yeah, almost like an old wishbone type handoff, like an inside scissor handoff that just did not work.
It's almost like the chain crew didn't.
Yeah, Dave's right. The ball marker was at the 33-yard line. The chain crew never moved to show the first down, so there was a little confusion there. But 12:33 left here, fourth quarter. And Cleveland gets the ball back. They'll mark it at the Cleveland 25-yard line. Rain still coming down, but not as hard. But we've seen it affect the snap here so far, and I don't think we've ever seen Cleveland under center.
That's not rain. I told you it wasn't going to rain in the second half.
Absolutely. My mistake. So 3 receivers on the far side now. Single receiver to the near side. It'll be Tyree Knight. He will be one-on-one with Caldwell. Emmett Calhoun, a running back to the left of Thompson. Cleveland looking to get this ball off here before the clock expires, taking their time. Thompson, 3-step drop, steps up in the pocket, fires out to the right side. It's going to be dropped at the 45-yard line by the Wildcats. And you can tell that ball just didn't come off his hand right.
It didn't. It had a wobble to it, and it sailed over any intended target. And even the defensive back, who had a couple shots at intercepting that, couldn't come down with the ball.
2nd and 10 now for the Cobras from their own 25-yard line. Cleveland gets the fumble. And what has become a rain-soaked game here. Second time in 2 weeks that these two teams have met. Okay, we'll try to get you an update here. No graphics on the screen here for Erie, so we do apologize for that. As Calhoun and Knight will be the twin receivers to the near side. 3 receivers to the far side. Empty backfield for Dave Thompson. 12:27 left here, fourth quarter. 2nd and 10 for the Cobras. They'll send Knight in motion from left to right. Thompson over the middle. He'll get rid of it. He'll get it out to the 30. Ball caught by Keyshawn Baycoat. And it should be 3rd and 5 now for Cleveland. Now the Erie Ohio Gladiator game there again being played under sunny skies just to the north of us.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Not that far at all. We just we lucked out. So the backfield again, same formation. Thompson taking his time. No real sense of urgency from either team this week. Knight in motion from left to right in front of Thompson. Thompson stepping up, fires, and it's going to go through the hands of Matt Wise. Ball was a little bit high, but nothing that Matt Wise hasn't brought down before.
Right, little extra heat on that fastball, and once again we saw the Slap Thompson drop down and throw that football sidearm to try to squeeze it into a window.
So 4th and 4. So it's 4th and 5 on the scoreboard, but looks like more like 4th and 4 to me, judging from our angle. Of course, one of the only stadiums, maybe the only one we've ever done where the scoreboard is directly across the field from us.
Yeah, right on the 50-yard line.
Not a bad angle for us as Thompson now in an empty backfield. We've seen him pooch kick this before. Of course, Thompson going to try to read this one. Everything covered as they send Knight again in motion from left to right. And some movement up front, and the Cobras will have to move back 5. It'll be 4th and 9 now for Cleveland.
Yeah, if there was any thoughts of trying to run a play offensively here, I think this definitely now forces you to punt the football away, and here comes Ben Lyons.
Yeah, so many times we have seen Slap Thompson just pooch kick that out of 4th down, and a little harder to do when you keep getting these penalties. Again, that's where the frustration settles in. And Thompson, who does a great job at drawing defenses off, even draws his own players off from time to time. So Ben Lyons will mark up right around the 11-yard line. D'Angelo Thompson makes a last-second appearance on the field. Only Gaddy back to protect Lyons. Rain lightening up a little bit here. Decent snap, a little slow, but Lions will get this one away. End-over-end kick, and it's going to be a good one down at the 43-yard line. It'll roll inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. So Ben Lyons does a good job flipping sides of the field here. WPA will take over 1st and 10 at their own 39.
A nice job by Lyons. had a little bit of pressure, but was able to step up into a nice gap and deliver a nice high end-over-end kick that will put the Wildcats at their 39-yard line to begin this drive.
So 11:27 left here, fourth quarter. 7:06 here in Pennsylvania. That is the time, and at 7:30 we'll have the kickoff of the Tier 2 playoff game on CityView Sportscast, the Mahoning Valley Federals and Tuscarawas County Warriors.
It's 7:06 in the entire Eastern time zone, not just here.
Yeah, but we're in Pennsylvania.
It's 7:06 in Ohio as well.
I don't know if it is in Erie, because you see the sun up there? I don't know. Canadian time here is Hurd now. Going to hand this one off to Opernosi. And he'll carry the ball forward. He's going to drag a few players, make it to the 44-yard line. Pick up a 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 now for WPA.
Got a player on the field now down for the Wildcats.
And I say his name wrong, Opernosi. So a little flare on the end there that I'll have to get better at.
Man down was 51, Jason Currington, one of the offensive linemen for the Wildcats.
And if you're a lineman, sometimes, you know what, you just get up a little slow, that's all. Not an injury, just a little slow. Sometimes for me, it was real slow.
I feel like you speak from experience there.
10:42 left here in this game. Wildcats with the ball. 2nd and 6. Hurd, quick pass out to Green. Green's going to drop it at the 40. And they're going to say it's a backward pass. Not sure that's going to be the case after they take a look at this. And the play continues. We now get a whistle, but I feel like that pass was forward from Hurd out to Green. But the officials kind of swallowing the whistles on that one, and it'll be a loss of a couple yards if this play stands.
Yeah, and I think it is going to stand, but I agree with you. We had a perfect view right down the line of scrimmage for that play, and it looked like it was a forward pass, barely, but was definitely a forward pass.
So for once, we get our better angle here. Better than the officials. I think they're trying down to convince the line judge that that wasn't a backward pass. Jacques Foster doing his best job to explain it, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. As Raymond Deemy to be the receiver to the far side now. 3rd and 11, 9:40 left here, fourth quarter. Twin receivers to the near side. Hurd in the shotgun in relief of Paul Jones. Cleveland showing pressure from the far side. Hurd rolling out to the near side. Planting his feet, pass across the middle. Picked off by Cleveland at the 40. You got a flag on the play, and that's going to be Cam McCauley all the way to the end zone. We'll see what the flag is going to be, though. 9:16 left here, a bunch of whistles, and it looks like, judging by the body language, this one's going to come back. And Cam McCauley, who's had a great couple of weeks, may have this interception for a touchdown wiped out.
The Cobras are celebrating.
Oh, now there's
against the Wildcats.
Indeed. So Cam McCauley finally gets his hands on one, returns it 45 yards for the Cleveland touchdown. Penalty on the Wildcats, declined by the Cobras, and they now trail by a score of 14-13, pending the Ben Lions extra point. So Cleveland putting up 6 defensively. Hurd rolling to the near side mark, tried to make something happen. Again, one of those times he may have done too much.
Right, that was a time for him to probably decide to tuck and run the football, force that throw downfield. McCauley made a nice play on the football, and then he knew he had the angle, Jim. He was celebrating at about the 11-yard line, knew he had the speed and the angle on the defender to get into the end zone.
Cam McCauley with his first interception for a touchdown here this season, and it comes at a great time. As Dontrell Nolling will come in for the snap, Joe Barrico for the hold. Ben Lyons for the extra point. Rain's still coming down here, so this is not a for sure deal here. Turf is wet here. Barrico checking with Lyons. Snap is back. Kick is up. And it is good. 9:16 left here, fourth quarter. We are all tied up at 14. Cam McCauley with a 45-yard touchdown interception return. And we will step aside for a quick timeout. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One network.
The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club fitting center, and an Odyssey fitting studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
This is number 79, Josh Jackson, and you're listening to Cleveland Cobras football on iMedia One Network. Let's get it.
Josh Jackson bringing us back after the interception return by Cam McCauley. You kind of felt like that was coming, but couldn't have come at a better time. And the Cobras tie this one all up at 14 with just 9:16 left.
Hey, you kind of question the decision-making to even throw the football there. They've had so much success in the second half running the football, and then you try to throw the ball, and then you make a difficult throw downfield that was intercepted for a touchdown.
Ben Lyons to kick this one off for the Cobras. Again, rain lightening up here. Sky is a little bit brighter as WPA will field this one at the 14, brought out to the 20-25. He'll have to push his own blocker out of the way, and he'll fight his way out to the 33-yard line. They'll actually give him the 34. That's where the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 with 9:06 left here in this Week 1 playoff game.
A little bit extra time on piling after that kick return. Everybody definitely, you could tell, getting a little tired with less than 10 minutes to play in the game.
Well, certainly you got to feel a little energized, though. If you're the Cleveland Cobras, being tied up at 14 again, you just look back 7 days ago and everything that went wrong, and it shows that the preparation this week was spot on. And, of course, I mean,
I'm here.
Mark Means is here. I mean,
everybody plays harder when I'm here.
I'm telling you. We always seem to be there for those weird things. Go back to Grove City. A little bit of a losing streak maybe at one point.
A little bit.
You know, they pick up the night win. I still remember that. What a great night there. Great program now over there at Grove City. Coach DiDonato leading that.
I'll tell you about them after this play.
Brick by brick is their mantra, and they are doing a great job. Hurd now in the shotgun. One receiver to each side. They'll hand it off. Get upfield, past the 40, 45, and brought down at the 49-yard line. Big run by WPA. Dontrell Nalling on the tackle for Cleveland.
So D3Football.com, not the actual poll that is used for playoff pairings, but is widely recognized as the top-ranking poll for Division III football, has the Grove City Wolverines preseason ranked number 11 in the country.
Which is outstanding. Of course, you can hear them every Saturday here, simulcasted on Western Reserve Radio with the voice of the Grove City Wolverines, Mark Means. Bynum out to the left side now, past midfield, down at the 46-yard line. 2nd and 5 now for WPA as they go to the ground game. Looks like Kev Fortson taking a second to get up off the ground. We'll see if he's shaking up here. Is Beth Betancourt going to come out and check on him? Kev says, nope, I'm good. He'll take a breather.
I cannot believe this is year 14 with the Wolverines.
And talk about an evolution and a development with that program. It's always been a great supportive staff and fan base, but we'll tell you the quality there, making it so deep into the playoffs last year's. Hurd now back in the shotgun. They'll hand it off to the far side. Find some room past the 45. Opernozia out to the WPA sideline. Cam McCauley going to take him down. Got to be careful on this as they're on the Wildcats sideline. Don't want anything crazy here. Paranozier, as I keep being corrected by the PA announcer. So 1st down for WPA, and they are on the drive on the ground.
And they have been content to, most of this second half, keep the football on the ground. They're grinding out 1st downs and grinding off time off the clock that's now down under 7.5 minutes to play.
So coming up here, 7:30 kickoff over on CityView Sportscast. Matt Lipsack, Matt Emsch with the Tuscarawas County Warriors hosting the Mahoning Valley Federals. Week 1 in Tier 2. As Hurd waits for the snap. Hurd going to keep it himself off the right side. Code making contact. Couldn't bring him down. Craig Williams going to wrap him up at the 40. He'll lose a yard or two on the play. Craig Williams doing a great job. We're going to have a flag on the play now as it's going to get ugly on the sideline. And a little pushing and tugging. And this is what we didn't want to see, was the discipline go away that both teams have had. Officials having a problem separating the two. Bad situation here with 6:47 left, all tied up at 14. And this is where it gets frustrating. As Jamar Fleming and other coaches over there trying to separate them. Cam Wells being escorted out. Kevin Green over there trying to make nice with everybody, maybe change the official's mind on these flags.
And one of the Wildcats practicing their push-ups.
That would be Oprah Nozier, as I'm going to get this right finally in the fourth quarter.
By the look of him, he does a lot of push-ups.
Yes, he does. So he looks like he may have been in a gym or two. So we'll see how the flags are going to go here. 6:47 left here, fourth quarter. Johnny Ray trying to get his team back on the sideline. We saw this kind of situation last week with Erie and Columbus. You don't want that to be the result. All tied up at 14. It's a little hard to determine what you're going to do after that. At least it's a hard determination by the league.
Right, a difficult situation, and it kind of escalated. At one point, you saw one player's hand up into the other face mask, and when you're in that territory, that's going to get somebody riled up.
That will definitely get the officials' attention as well. And quite frankly, I'm hoping we're going to see a lot of offsetting penalties here. But will we see any ejections? We're going to have to pay close attention here as they're going to mark the ball at the Cleveland 38-yard line. We'll see where they move it after the enforcement of the penalty. 6:47 left here, fourth quarter. All tied up at 14. You hate to see players on the opponent's sideline.
That's always risky territory. You're going to get a flag, and just personally, for your own sake, you're way outnumbered over there.
Yeah, it's the Vegas odds are not with you in that case. I don't take away any toughness, but sometimes the math ain't mathing for you.
Math never maths for me. That's my problem.
I was never one to get caught on the sideline. I always wanted to head back to my own sideline where it was safer. You know, even and to go back to playing days, you know, even the coaches, you know, at that time on the kick returns, you know, return the ball to your sideline so you have less chance of something happening like that. But unfortunately, offensively, it's hard to have that happen here. As Johnny Ray and Adam Rogers are going to come out the midfield. Adam kind of with a little bit of a smile. We're hoping that means there's going to be a lot of offsetting penalties. Cam Wells had to be escorted off, so hopefully that won't be an ejection. But, again, we don't want to lose the discipline of this game. It's been a great game back and forth between these two programs.
Right, and you can expect after a situation like this, once we resume play, that this will be the way this game is called, especially with an experienced college crew, it's going to be turned up a notch.
Yeah, certainly. All right, so we have a dead ball, personal foul. Okay, so I got half my wishes there. Offsetting penalties coming up against both plays. However, Cam Wells will end his day today with 6:47 left here in the fourth quarter, and Cam Wells is a big part of that front defensive rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those big guys you need up front, and it's a fantastic job by our crowd mic picking up an unmiked referee. You could hear that clearly, what he was letting us know.
And when it all starts here, now it'll be 2nd and 10. Well, I don't. All right, well, that's right. They did offset, so 2nd and 10, ball at the 38-yard line. Hurd in the shotgun. One receiver to each side. Ball loose on the ground. Hurd going to be wrapped up in the backfield. Brought down by Tamir Stevens. And he'll be tackled at the midfield stripe. It'll bring up third down for the Wildcats.
That was the third quarterback in there again. Charles Green, listed as an athlete on the roster. We can now see him at the quarterback position.
Yeah, didn't catch that there, so I do apologize. Heard. Looking for him on the sideline. Again, he's done a good job.
He's at about the 42, 43-yard line.
He's done a great job in place of Paul Jones. Again, hard to replace him, but 5:42 left here in this game. All tied up at 14. Hurd with the handoff to Bynum. Bynum trying to make one cut. Going to spin past to a 45 and drag a couple of Cobra defenders down to the 40-yard line. They'll actually give him the 41. He'll be a couple yards short of the first down as we have a Wildcat down at the 50-yard line. Officials timeout with 5:24 left here. They'll check him out there, Beth Betancourt, the Cobras trainer, who has been with this program for many years, comes out to check on him.
And fourth down and a little more than 12 yards to see what the Wildcats decide to do here.
And how do you know that the Cobras have struggled when they've been deep on their end of the field. How much confidence do you have in your defense as they check him out? And Beth doing a great job here. Had a couple of situations last year with some seizures and things like that. And she kind of really prepared herself for the season, went to some training, and really kind of prepared for these things she hadn't seen before as they're going to help this guy up. And he's going to limp off a little bit there, and I think that's going to be Ron Mayfield, defensive end for the Wildcats. So after all the flags and everything, great sportsmanship. Beth going out there to check on the other team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's things that you need. We saw the horrible incident that happened to DeMar Hamlin, and it kind of opened up the eyes that we need good trained people at every level of football to make sure we don't have anything like that.
So 5:23 here as the clock will continue to run after the injury timeout. 4th and 12 for call it 4th and 13 for the Wildcats. They're going to bring on Green to punt. Tyree Knight back to return. Tyree Knight's had a great game today as well. Ball security going to be the issue here. Rain's still light here, Mark. Not a driving rain. But you worry about the long snappers. And we have a flag here. It's going to be a delay of game coming up against the Wildcats. And in a situation like that, I don't think the 5 yards is going to make a whole lot of difference.
No, it's not really going to. And if you had any thoughts of going for it on 4th down, you're definitely going to see Charles Green come on and punt the ball away now.
So after moving the ball back 5, they'll set it down at the 46-yard line. Tyree Knight right around his own 10-yard line. A little bit of a looping slow snap. High end over and punt. And Cleveland getting away from this one. It's going to take a WPA bounce. Actually, it'll go laterally down to the 24-yard line. That's where Cleveland will take over 1st and 10. 4:33 left here in this game, and now a crucial drive for the Cleveland Cobras.
Yeah, this becomes huge. And like we talked about in the pregame, yes, you've got Rain, but you've still got Ben Lyons. And if you can get within his distance, they're going to take a shot to try to get points on the board.
Yeah, certainly he is the key to this. If they can drive downfield. Ben Lyons not available last week. Don't know that would have made a huge difference. But the way this game is going, all tied up at 14, there was no 28-point field goal last week, I'll tell you that much.
Wonder where you'd have to kick that from to get 28 points.
Youngstown.
I watched a lot of rugby, and I was still confused even though I watched the rugby.
Have you been able to watch any of the rugby from the Olympics?
Yes.
Caught some of the excitement there. As explaining to my son, some of the terminology were, like touchdown. So, Knight and Calhoun, the receivers on the near side, 3 receivers to the far side. Thompson in an empty backfield. He'll send Knight in motion, left to right. He'll hand it off to Knight. Knight trying to find a corner, and limited space, and he's going to lose some yardage as he's tossed down out of bounds. He'll lose 3 or 4 on the play. They'll bring him second down now for Cleveland.
Historical performance for the women's rugby team, and especially the way they won on the last play of the match.
Well, made it very exciting there.
Second down.
Rugby, a game we saw in the Youngstown area for a little bit there. Interestingly, no pads, but they say there's a lower rate of concussion based on the technique used. I don't know if I buy that.
I don't know if I understand it. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Wasn't quite sure what was happening.
Clock continues to run here. 3:48 left in the game. We're all tied up at 14. Cleveland now 2nd and 12. Thought that spot was going to be a little bit worse, but Emma Calhoun, D'Angelo Thompson, Keyshawn Baycoat, and Tyree Knight. All 4 receivers to the near side. 1 single receiver to the far side. That'll be Matt Wise. Thompson in the shotgun. Empty backfield. 3:21 here on a running clock. Rain has lightened up. 3-step drop for Thompson. Thompson stepping up in the pocket. Throws across the middle. And it's going to be caught at the 35-yard line. And that's going to be D'Angelo Thompson for the first down. He took a shot for his trouble, but he holds on to the ball.
Like they say, if you're going to get hit that hard, you might as well catch the football, and Thompson did.
And indeed, Cleveland claws their way out of the back from their side of the field. They get the first down. They'll mark it at the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 Cobras. 2:46 left here in the game. And I'm going to say they're going to need at least to get to the 25-yard line to make that a 42-yard field goal, well within the range of Ben Lyons.
And we saw him hit from 45 yards twice against the Federals early on this year off of the grass surface.
And kickoff just moments away down in Tuscarawas County as the Warriors host the Mahoning Valley Federals over on City View Sportscast. Low snap, ball on the ground. Thompson's going to cover it up at the 30. That's going to be a loss of 6. Again, that ball probably still a little bit wet from the rain. It's still coming down here. Not a torrential downpour, but obviously affecting the snap nonetheless. Cleveland now got to work their way back from behind the chains again.
Under 2 minutes to play. Get you starting to think a little bit about the overtime rules.
So with 1:44 left here, we'll throw a little surprise at you. Up in Erie, the Ohio Gladiators with a 7-3 lead over the Erie Express.
Yeah, I thought that would be a close game that the Express would win, but surprised that they are down now.
Yeah, playoffs a different animal here as the Cobras will take a timeout here. 1:32 left here in the fourth quarter. We are all knotted up at 14. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, a part of the iMedia One network.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Tyree Knight, number 2 of the Cleveland Cobras, and you're listening to the Tri-Point Football League on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One network. Go Cobras.
1:32 left here in this game. We are all tied up at 14. Cleveland with the ball. 2nd down and 16.
Did it again. There's times I feel like we need the Jim Donovan camera in the booth.
Or we don't. I don't know if there's Jim Donovan, and then there's just Jim Craven. I don't know. Yeah, we'll skip over that. Nobody needs to see what goes on up here. So Thompson now in the shotgun. He'll have Calhoun to his right. Baycoat and Tyree Knight, the receivers to the near side. Twin receivers to the far side. WPA trying to make some noise over here. He'll send Knight in motion. D'Angelo Thompson in motion. Thompson, pass over the middle, is going to overthrow it, intended for Tyree Knight. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 16 for Cleveland. 1:28 left here. The clock will stop.
He had Baycoat open, but the pressure forced him to throw that football a little early and incomplete.
So ball security, all that much more important right here with 1.5 minutes left. We are just underway also over on City View Sportscast. After the conclusion of this game, I would recommend going over and joining Matt Lipsack and Matt Emsch for Week 1 of the Tier 2 playoffs. Federals and the Warriors will go at it. Earlier this year, the Warriors got the win over the Mahoning Valley Federals. Baycoat, Knight, and D'Angelo Thompson, the trip receivers to the near side. Emma Calhoun to the right of Dave Thompson. 3rd and 16 for the Cobras. Good snap, Thompson. Pump fake down the far sideline. Look at first Cornelius Strickland, and it's going to be incomplete. 4th down now for the Cobras. They're going to have to punt this one away. They're going to have to rely on the defense.
They are. That was a good ball by Slap Thompson, and the defender stride for stride with the receiver, able to just knock the football away and incomplete, and Ben Lyons on to punt.
So with 1:23 left here in this game, all tied up at 14. The Cobras will have to give up the ball. Charles Green going to set up right around his own 44-yard line. Ben Lyons, we'll have to keep him in mind here. Is Green actually going to move his way back to the 35, and I think right now he's just going to play it safe. Make sure there's no issues. Low snap, and we're going to have a flag on the play. They'll get the kickoff, but the officials will stop it. I believe we might have a false start against Cleveland.
I don't know.
And the officials thought there were 12 on the defensive side.
Not only that, but one of the defenders might have jumped the snap count coming from the right side.
So a lot going on here. You have this gut feeling this is going to end just with the second left on the clock. And we want to thank everybody joining us in on Facebook. See a lot of comments coming in here on what has been an outstanding game here in Week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. Actually, penalty, you're right, coming up against WPA. They'll mark the ball at the 35-yard line, so it'll actually be 4th and 10. So Green will move back just a little bit further. Malik Gaddy, the protector in the backfield for the Cobras. WPA showing pressure. Better snap this time. Not great, but they'll get it away. Ball away. It'll land at the 33-yard line, take a bounce. Tamir Stevens right there to cover it, and he'll down it at the 29-yard line, and that's where WPA will start. 1st and 10 with 1:12 left in this game, all tied up at 14 apiece.
How much do you think this changes your approach defensively? Are you going to drop back in a prevent, or are you going to play your base defense?
What would Marty Schottenheimer do?
We don't want to talk about that. Screw it up. We know what Marty did. He prevented them from winning.
So we must have a flag on the play. They're going to move it. Oh, no. They're actually going to move it back to the 29. All right. Our umpire just marked it wrong initially, but he'll move it back to the 29. Again, so far, the officiating crew, really no complaints. They've done a great job here. A 6-man crew for Week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. And that extra set of eyes makes a huge difference. So Durante Nawlings will be the single high safety for Cleveland. Hurd in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side. Single receiver to the far side. Moving left to right. They'll give it to Bynum. Bynum trying to find room. And he's got room to run past the 40, 45, and it'll be upended by Nawling at the 48-yard line. That's a 1st down for WPA. They're going to get back to the line. Bynum limping off there a little bit as Nawling went low on him, but fortunately he's able to walk off on his own.
Yeah, he took a helmet to the thigh pad as he was trying to cut up field, and that's the best way to take him down.
Handoff again, right up the middle. Opernozier down to the 41-yard line. And we have a stoppage on the clock. Our down marker was not right. So WPA will take the timeout. 47 seconds left here in the game. 2nd and 2 now for the Wildcats. We'll keep it right here as Cleveland goes over for a quick water break, make some adjustments. If you're Jamar Fleming, this is a big series for you with 47 seconds left.
Bynum down on the field, getting stretched out. He'll be out for at least a few plays.
So again, want to thank you for joining us in here on Facebook or wherever you're listening or watching. Here, week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. See the coach, Bob Gessler, listening to this. He will make his return here coming up in the coming weeks. Hurd now in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side. 2nd and 2. 47 seconds left here in this tie ball game. Nalling, high safety. As Hurd rolls out to the near side, fires out to the sideline, caught by Coswell. He'll head out of bounds near the 35. That's enough for a WPA first down. 42 seconds left in the game.
Probably the best throw by Hurd, right on the numbers, on the run, and a nice dart throw to his receiver for the catch.
The clock will stop with the out-of-bounds completion. Coach says go jailbreak on the defense. I don't know about that one as we get a couple of whistles here. All right. So timeout Cleveland. 42 seconds left here, fourth quarter. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. You are listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, all a part of the iMedia One Network.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield replacement and all other auto glass, we offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
On our way to an exciting finish here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. 42 seconds left here in week 1 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. 1st and 10 for the WPA Wildcats at the Cleveland 35-yard line, all tied up at 14. Hurd in the shotgun, rolling out to the far side. And he'll be chased down near the 30. Hurd will go out of bounds. Clock will stop. And they'll mark this at the 29-yard line. So short of the first down, but he'll get out of bounds to stop the clock. 36 seconds left.
Based on what they've done after scoring touchdowns, you would not think that they have a field goal kicker. So it's going to be, can they get the ball in the end zone in the final 36 seconds?
Yeah, can they do it in such a way they eat up enough time
2nd and 4 for the Wildcats.
so that nothing bad goes wrong for them? Hurd now getting the play from the sideline. They'll take their time. Try to work the sidelines, I'm sure. So 2nd and 4, ball at the Cleveland 29-yard line. Just 36 seconds left here in this week 1 playoff matchup. Outstanding second game here for Cleveland. Craig Williams now one-on-one with Drew Coswell at the bottom. Charles Green going to be one-on-one with Cam McCauley. Hurd back to pass, steps up in the pocket, has room to run. He's going to take a big hit inside the 25, down to the 24. That's enough for a first down. That clock will stop long enough to reset the chains with 30 seconds left.
Looked like that was a designed quarterback run all the way. Let his receivers kind of clear out and him head upfield.
And now WPA will take a timeout to stop the clock with 26 seconds left. Ball be marked at the Cleveland 25-yard line. They'll reset the play clock. Plenty coming up here on the iMedia One Network. As high school football just around the corner. And we have 2 nights of football coming up week 1.
2 nights.
Yes.
Thursday and then a Friday night doubleheader.
So, of course, you and Dave Clark will be handling the game of the week. Bob Gessler and I will be heading over to Poland, over to Pavliansky Field for the Poland Bulldogs and the Salem Quakers.
So Thursday night, it'll be Cuyahoga Falls, Walsh Jesuit, and Ursuline. That'll be on Sports Radio 1240 and Western Reserve Radio.
Great matchup.
Friday night, due to a programming conflict on 1240, they will have 49ers football. We will have Campfield and West Branch exclusively on Western Reserve Radio 2.
That's become quite the matchup between Campfield and West Branch in recent years with the playoff appearances. And, of course, a couple big names headed to college. Brock Lowry from Canfield. Not sure where he ended up. We headed out to Indiana for a moment.
Right. I know he's transferred out of Indiana.
So we get the whistle for play now. Hurd in the shotgun. Hurd rolling to the near side. Tries to set his feet. He's going to elude Quentin Wells, and he'll get rid of the ball. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for WPA. Clock will stop with 24 seconds left. Cleveland trying to get to overtime now. Raphael Hurd stepping in for the injured Paul Jones today. Has done quite well in spell of the starting quarterback.
Brock Lowry is at Western Michigan.
There we go.
And I believe they play Ohio State in week 3.
I believe you're right. So we will see some of the MAC teams. Of course, college football coming up as well. Best time of the year, as we will get all kinds of football. We'll go from one football season to another. Hurd in a shotgun, twin receivers to the near side. Single receiver to the far side. That'll be Kev Fortson on the coverage for Cleveland. Hurd back to pass, stepping up, throws it down the sideline. Looking for Coswell, going to be knocked away. And that's going to be Craig Williams on the defense for the Cobras. That'll stop the clock with 19 seconds left here in this game.
Taking a big shot. Good job by the safety to rotate over on that deep ball downfield. They had the receiver blanketed and able to knock the ball away.
That's going to be Dontrell Nalling, the high safety there for Cleveland. 3rd and 10. 2 big plays coming up for the Cobras. 2 of the biggest plays of the season. Still got some of that C4 going. So 3rd and 10 for WPA. They'll have Cornish and Coswell, the twin receivers, to the far side. Charles Green to the near side. It'll be Tyree Bush. And Chidolo Opernozier. Hurd back to pass. Under pressure, going to elude a tackle. Head towards the sideline. Ball's going to come loose. And it'll be 4th down. Ball will go out of bounds. No harm there. It'll be 4th and 10. Last chance for WPA to hit the end zone.
Nice job done by the Cobras defensively. Not only were they able to put pressure on the quarterback, but they had blanket coverage downfield. No one was open.
Quentin Wells on the pressure there against Raphael Hurd. 12 seconds left in this game. We are all tied up at 14. The biggest play of the season for the Cobras here in 2024. As E.J. Bibbs now in on the defensive line. If you've seen E.J., he's not a small man, so he'll help put some pressure on there. E.J. the Barbarian.
Just a guy who loves to play football.
He sure does. Hurd in the shotgun now. Twin receivers to the near side. That'll be Coswell and Green. Single receiver to the far side. Hurd firing out there. Didn't come off his hand right. Incomplete. And Cleveland will get the ball back with 8 seconds left in the game. One chance to take a shot downfield maybe. Or do you take a knee and go to the overtime?
Based on where you are on the field, I take the knee and I go to overtime.
I would agree with you. I would play that very conservatively.
I would do that in a video game. I would do that in real life.
Well, the real question is, what would Coach Gessler do?
He'd go for it.
I think him and Coach Noble would fight, argue on the sideline, and then they would go for it.
Right. That sounds very accurate.
And if you've ever seen an argument that's kind of reminds you of Lucy and Ricky, actually, a little bit.
whatever it would take to not involve a kicker was probably what they would want to do.
Indeed. So Thompson in the shotgun. He'll take the knee, and we will head to overtime here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. The WPA Wildcats, the Cleveland Cobras, all tied up at 14. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, the overtime period will start. You're listening to Cleveland Cobras football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier. Then make sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Feeling dehydrated or sluggish? Did you enjoy your Phantoms game just a little too much? We can help you get back on track and hydrated in record time. With our vitamin-infused IV drips, we'll have you feeling healthy and energized so you can get back to your busy schedule. Whether you want to boost your immune system, increase your energy, or stay healthy through the winter months, we can help. Find us on Facebook or theyoungstowndrip.com and book your appointment today.
This is number 79, Josh Jackson, and you're listening to Cleveland Cobras football on iMedia One Network. Let's get it.
Overtime here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. As the Cleveland Cobras and the WPA Wildcats, they end 4 quarters, all tied up at 14. And we are going to play from the right side of the field as we start this overtime period.
And I like this. Both head coaches out onto the field after the coin toss, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Indeed, Adam Rogerson and Johnny Ray out there. John Ray, actually, again, we talked about him last week, headed up there, was the head coach for the Kennedy Christian Eagles.
Kennedy Catholic,
excuse me, for a few years. The Wildcats went into hiatus for a bit, but they are back this year and still have all of the great qualities they had when he left. So we will move to the right side of the field. No clock here, obviously.
So we will, we believe, have alternating possessions beginning at the 25-yard line. 1 per overtime. One timeout each team per overtime session. You think I would know these as a Division III college football announcer?
Well, you know, it's August. We're a little rusty, so
and overtime doesn't happen that often.
No, not often at all. And this will be the first overtime game, and for, again, another situation for as long as I can remember for the Cobras. Wildcats will get the ball first.
3rd overtime, you have to go for 2, I believe.
Indeed. So this will, and is this a situation where Ben Lyons comes into play? We talk about him at nauseum.
Absolutely, I think it is.
Because he's that unicorn.
Can't they use Ben right off the bat on their first play when they get the ball?
Well, you don't want to let them get the touch. They get an opportunity to score on a touchdown. So that could end it. But now.
Oh, if you get a stop here, then you could consider it.
We'll start it here with Hurd in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side. Oprenozier with the ball. Upfield. He'll make one cut. Work his way down inside to the 20 to the 19-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Wildcats. Oprenozier. I feel like I'm on the path to get that right. Unless I'm saying it right and PA announcer saying it
You're still
wrong.
on the path. I don't know if you've reached the end of that path, but you're on it.
Well, my luck, it's just a ledge with a waterfall, and I'm done. So, nonetheless, ball marked at the 19-yard line now. So 2nd and 5, or, yep, 2nd and 4. We'll go 2nd and 6. I don't know. It's close to like.
It's about 5.
Yeah. Coswell in motion. They'll give it to Tyree Bush to the far side, trying to find a corner to turn upfield, get to the 15, inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. And the Wildcats go right back to the run game, which is where they have been strongest for 4 quarters.
The Cobras defender a little slow to get up.
So have an official's timeout as a player will make his way to his feet. Can't tell who it is as he's turned to his side. Can't see the number. So we'll bring up 1st and 10. Ball marked. Oh, Malik Gaddy, the one shaken up. The ball at the 11-yard line. I can still get a first down at the 1.
Looks like the first down is just
in terms of the run game, it just really kind of benefits the Wildcats at this point.
Right, they've had a lot of success running the football here this evening, and they've been content to do that here in the overtime. It just becomes, if you give up points, you have the opportunity to respond to stay in the game.
So 1st and 10 here in this overtime, all tied up at 14. Actually look like they're going to have Andy Code at the nose, Kevin Green on the end. Hurd in the shotgun, send a man in motion. Hand it off again, up the middle. Oprenozier with the ball. He'll spin and turn his way down near the 1-yard line. He'll say there's just a yard short of a first down. So 2nd down at the 4-yard line, maybe the 3. Hard to tell on this angle, but I believe it's at the 3. They can get to if they get to the 1, they can get a first down. So the key here is stopping the run of the WPA Wildcats. All tied up at 14, first overtime period here. Couple of numbers we haven't seen there at receiver. They'll hand it off again. We'll have a flag on the play. And stop the action, so I believe this is going to be against the Wildcats. We're guessing again as they're going to count them up. Did Cleveland have too many players on the field? Counting to 11's been an issue today for the officials.
Timeout on the field.
So officials timeout here is the back judge. We'll come up and talk to the referee. Referee says, "What you doing?" So we'll wait for.
As long as nobody takes shoes and socks off, we're okay.
All right. So official timeout. Cleveland will take a timeout. We'll keep it right here. No flag on the play. WPA still in a huddle. Okay, so no timeout taken?
No penalty timeout taken.
Okay, because he pointed towards Cleveland, so I don't know. Nonetheless, 2nd and 2 for WPA. They'll break the huddle. This is the first possession in the overtime period. Cleveland will have the opportunity, should WPA score, to respond. Hurd back in the shotgun, twin receivers to the near side. Bush and Oprenozier in the backfield. They'll give it to Oprenozier into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Wildcats take a 20-14 lead here in the overtime. And what has become most important out here is the extra point or the conversion. WPA is 1 for 2 on the day.
We've seen no signs of them even considering to attempt to kick an extra point. So this 2-point conversion, as you said, absolutely critical.
So Oprenozier on the 4-yard touchdown run. Now the all-important conversion coming up. Again, we talk about Ben Lyons. He could be huge here for him if they can prevent WPA on the conversion. Hurd going to take it himself to the far side. Toss it into the end zone. Caught for 2. 22-14 is your score.
Chuck Buck, number 5, with the 2-point conversion in the end zone.
And now Cleveland will have to respond not only with a touchdown but with a 2-point conversion.
14 Wildcats. The Cobras will have a chance to respond, though.
And Cleveland kind of takes your kicking game out of the thinking process.
It completely does. Now, forcing you to go for 2 on this possession if you're able to put the ball into the end zone.
So Cleveland behind the proverbial 8 ball here, down 22-14. As it looks like the rain may have stopped here. Had kind of a consistent light rain for most of the second half. And at the conclusion of this game, you can switch over to City View Sportscast. Also available on the iMedia One Network on Facebook. Or you can catch the Mahoning Valley Federals and the Tuscarawas County Warriors.
They will have to match the Wildcats to continue overtime.
And we are told the Federals are up 8-0 after a pick 6. So Federals
Off to a good start there.
Certainly. That always helps. Thompson with Calhoun to his left. 3 receivers to the far side. Jerry Cecil, the single receiver to the near side. Thompson. Quick pass out to Tyree Knight. He'll get out past the 25 down to the 24-yard line, maybe the 23, depending on where they spend it. So Tyree Knight having a big day himself.
Tyree Knight, but tackled quickly.
Actually only pickup of 1. They're not going to give him much there. Cleveland, 2nd and 9. Have to get to the 15-yard line for a first down. Down 22-14. So 2 things have to happen here. 1 to get into the end zone, and then the 2-point conversion. Tyree Knight, single receiver to the bottom here. Be one-on-one with Nelson Caldwell. Slap Thompson, empty backfield. 4 receivers to the far side. Thompson, quick pass out to Baycoat. Baycoat going to drop it. That'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Cobras. Looks like Keyshawn was trying to run before he actually brought that ball in.
Turned his head upfield looking for the defender before he had possession of the football, and with the wet ball, made it a little worse.
Certainly not a bad play design on there, but fortunately got to catch the ball on that. Cobras with their first possession of the overtime period. WPA went down and scored and got the 2-point conversions. Jerry Cecil will bring the play in from the sideline. Ball at the 24-yard line. Cobras trail 22-14 here in this overtime period. Skilled players making it away from the sideline. Cornelius Strickland making his way in as well. Jerry Cecil will head to the sideline. D'Angelo Thompson making his way in as well. I'm not sure if we get the whistle for play, or it seems like they're taking a long time here, but Calhoun, Cecil, and D'Angelo Thompson to the far side. Tyree Knight, Baycoat to the right. Thompson in an empty backfield. 3rd and 9 for the Cobras. Thompson back to pass, stepping up in the pocket, has room to run, fires over the middle, caught by Emmett Calhoun into the end zone. 24-yard touchdown pass from Dave Slap Thompson to Emmett Calhoun. And now half of the equation is there. Cobras have to come up with the all-important 2-point conversion to stay in this one.
Nice job by Thompson, stepping up in the pocket, went sidearm once again to Calhoun for the completion. The offense stays on the field.
A great part, Emmett Calhoun, and a couple of the other receivers there have no fear coming across that middle. Makes it great options for the Cobras. So we talk about the biggest drive, biggest quarter. Now we're down to the biggest play of the season. You would like to think that this play had been drawn up a little bit earlier than this. Trying to think ahead.
All right, this is one of those where okay, what's our best two-point attempt? What's our best two-point play? That's what they're going to run here after WPA takes a timeout.
So the Wildcats are going to take a timeout here in the overtime. I don't know if I think I would have waited till they lined up to kind of get an idea what was going on, but nonetheless, we'll keep it right here. We are one play away from either going to overtime or going to week 2.
Double overtime.
Indeed. Excuse me, double overtime. Getting a little excited myself.
It's been that kind of game.
Certainly has. And again, a great performance by both sides. Both teams coming in here and playing like it is playoff football. For Cleveland, again, they erased the 28-0 loss last week in their mind.
You look at the adjustments the Cobras have made based on the game last week. You look at the adjustments WPA has made. You lose your starting quarterback. You lose your top running back. He's been out the last couple possessions. They've had a lot of guys step up and fill gaps for them today.
Yeah, so you really break it down, a chess match between the coaches, having to make those adjustments, and they certainly have done that. As we come out of the timeout, the all-important two-point conversion coming up here in this first overtime. WPA Wildcats with a 22-20 lead over Cleveland. Sun's starting to come out here. Rain has stopped. Calhoun's going to be in the backfield with Dave Thompson. Baycoat will be the single receiver to the near side. Cleveland will have D'Angelo Thompson to the far side. Two-point attempt here in this overtime. Thompson in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. Keep it himself. He'll fight his way, and he's going to be short. WPA will go on to win this one by a score of 22-20. They will head on to week 2 to take on most likely the Columbus Fire, I would assume. And the season comes to an end on a two-point conversion for the Cleveland Cobras, but make no mistake, a fantastic outing for both teams.
Absolutely, a great effort by both teams. The kind of game you want to see in the first round of the playoffs. It's tough to lose in overtime, but the great game plan well executed by the Cobras today.
Certainly a game that this league can be proud of, as other games are ongoing right now. More specifically, over on CityView Sportscast, the Mahoning Valley Federals with an 8-0 lead over the Tuscarawas County Warriors. We will step aside for a quick timeout here when we come back. Mark will give you a scoring update, or scoring recap, excuse me. And we will wrap it up here from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. You are listening to Cobras Football here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMedia One Network.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Meludic Live is your home for high school sports. We have all the scores on our social media platforms throughout the games. Enjoy our timely updates from local area schools year-round. You won't get the consistency and reliability from anyone else. Our number one priority is servicing our fans and getting them live news as it's happening. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meludic_live. And remember, our fans come first.
Lena's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard, or call 234-254-8532. The Mahoning Valley's leader for golf, Milk Creek Golf Course, is now booking tee times for 2024. We offer stay and play opportunities available with 9 area hotel partners. For more information, visit our website at millcreekmetroparks.org. Also, look for new, exciting opportunities coming soon, including an indoor player development center with Trackman, an indoor Callaway Club Fitting Center, and an Odyssey Fitting Studio in 2024. Follow us on Facebook at Milk Creek Golf Course or call 330-740-7112.
WPA Wildcats, they get the 22-20 win in overtime over the Cleveland Cobras. And WPA will move on to week 2. The Cobra season comes to an end. They will finish 2024 at 4-5. Mark, how did we get to 22-20?
Scoring began at the 2:06 mark of the opening quarter. Thompson a 5-yard touchdown pass. Ben Lyons' extra point gave the Cobras a 7-0 lead. 8:53 to go in our first half. An 18-yard punt return by Humphrey for touchdown. They went for 2, initially converted the 2-point conversion. A penalty was called. They had to try it a second time, and that 2-point conversion was no good. 10 seconds before we went to the locker room, Lions missed a 32-yard field goal. At the half, it was 7-6 in favor of the Cobras. 6:15 to play in the third quarter. Bynum's 2-yard touchdown run and the 2-point conversion gave the WPA Wildcats a 14-7 lead. That was our score after 3 quarters. And then it was McCauley's 45-yard interception return for touchdown at the 9:16 mark of today's game. Lions extra point tied us up at 14. Then in overtime, WPA got the football first, scored on a 2-yard touchdown run by Upper Nosey. The 2-point conversion was successful, 22-14 Wildcats. Thompson hit Calhoun on a 24-yard touchdown pass, but the Cobras unable to convert the 2-point conversion and fall here this evening 22-20.
And the Cobras will finish their season at 4-5. The WPA Wildcats improved to 5-4. They will move on to week 2 of the Tri-Point Football League playoffs. And we're going to be wrapping our season up here with the Cleveland Cobras. And another exciting season here, as we always enjoy working with Jesse Caldwell, Adam Rogerson, and crew. And the guys have been outstanding. Playing along here as you hear some of the station IDs and some of the conversation that goes on during the week. And I thank them for playing along. I want to thank you, Mark, for filling in here, as Coach Gessler's had a rough couple of weeks here. We look forward to having him back and having his insight. We always love a little bit of coachisms coming up here, but more importantly, high school football coming up here on Western Reserve Radio and the iMedia One Network, and you'll kick it all off on Thursday night with a big matchup.
Walsh Jesuit and Ursuline from Youngstown State. That'll be 6:40 pregame. Dave Clark, myself, Michael Rickard will have the call of that one. Friday night, our first Friday night game will be Canfield at West Branch. That'll be a Western Reserve Radio 2 exclusive. And you also begin your season Friday night.
Certainly. We will be covering the Poland Bulldogs this year, as we will take week 1 at Pavlansky Field. They will take on the Salem Quakers. And certainly looking to covering the hometown team, as young Will be in the band here. Doesn't play football, hockey player. So
not so young anymore.
Not so young anymore. So, yeah, a little disappointing. And it certainly reminds us all that we are getting a little older as well.
My knees tell me that every day.
They predict weather here, and today it said rain. So despite all of that, an outstanding game here in Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Again, want to thank everybody for joining us. I would highly encourage you to flip over to City View Sportscast with Matt Lipsack and Matt Emsch, as they have the Mahoning Valley Federals and the Tuscarawas County Warriors in week 1 of the Tier 2 Tri-Point Football League playoffs. Last call we saw the Federals were up 8-0 via a pick 6. So, again, thanks for joining us all season long here. We're looking forward to seeing you again in just a few weeks as the OHSAA high school football season will start right here on the iMedia One Network. So, for Mark Means, for Dave Ferris, for the coach Bob Gessler back in Youngstown, we look forward to seeing you again coming up real soon. Stay tuned to all of our social media for all of our live events. And we hope that you have an outstanding weekend.
Thank you. That's all I got. High school football is right around the corner.
Coming up. We'll see you then.
We thank you for joining us for this special presentation of the iMedia One Network, and we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.